And looks like we are live. Let me just turn the music down just a little bit. I'm just still sort of adjusting some things. Where do I interact? There we go. Oh, nice. There, that's good. Just as nice little background music there. I'll just wait for people to come in. And how's it going, everybody? It's been a good weekend for me, at least. And I watched Mank. I watched Mank on Friday morning. Actually, I watched it and then I premiered I uploaded the video right after. Yeah, I know I haven't streamed in a while. It's been a crazy month. But so today we're going to be talking about Mank, Citizen Kane. There was some stuff that I ended up having to cut out of the video, mainly because I just couldn't find good places or just stuff that didn't really flow with the video, but there was some extra stuff that I did want to sort of touch on. Yeah, so Mank, Citizen Kane, and then talking about just future projects. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming out this month, not just on this channel, but on other channels that I work on. So, yeah, let's just, I guess I'll just start with Mank. I don't know, has anyone here seen Mank? I know it just came out on Netflix, so maybe people haven't really seen it. I won't go too much into spoilers, although it's not really a movie that you can really spoil. I think that there's like one B plot that's spoilable, but really for the most part, it's not. Like, Citizen Kane was made, right? Like, everyone knows. It's not like you're going into the movie thinking, is he actually going to finish this script? It's like, I mean, you know that the script is finished. Like, you know that somebody is, you know that he makes it. So obviously that can't be spoiled. And if you know anything about the history of, the 1930s, you also know that Upton Sinclair, was never the governor of California. So, like, that part of it won't be spoiled either if you know anything about California. I guess if you don't know anything about California, maybe that's a spoiler, but it's really not. The thing that kind of pissed me off about Mank, I got maybe it's just the tism in me, right? But the thing that really pissed me off was he puts the cigarette burns on the right-hand corners of the frames, right? So there's like these cigarette burns. And now if you know anything about film, you know that when you're projecting a film, there are the cigarette burns in the top right corner, sometimes top left. There's cigarette burns in the corner of the frame that tell the projectionist that it's time to change the reel. Because that's how they used to do it. They're like, films would be several reels long. It's 5, 6, sometimes more. I mean, depending upon the length. And, and the projectionist, I mean, the real skill of being a projectionist back when everything was still projected on film was, seamlessly merging the reels together so that the viewers, so to the viewers, it didn't feel like, oh, here's part 1, here's part 2, all the way up to, I don't know, part 20 or something. I mean, films weren't really ever 20 reels long, but yeah. But anyways, for something that's not shot on film, for something that's shot digitally and is so obviously digital, like they did some like overlay film effects in some scenes. They did stuff like that, and like, digital's not just about. It's not just about film grain versus no film grain. Like, there's noise with. Fincher made a film mistake, and they're about cigarette burns. That had to have been an intentional joke. No, it didn't come across as a joke. That's the thing. What it came across as, I know I'm being a bit scattered right now, but what it came across as is this sort of trying to emulate the feeling of a movie from the 30s, or the feeling of a movie shot on film, but they didn't actually shoot on film. And you can tell by the way the textures look. I mean, as I said, it's not just about film grain. It's also about textures and how like digital sensors deal with light differently. It has a very digital look to it. There are scenes where they put that sort of like almost like post-processing effects to make it feel a bit more like film, but it still doesn't. And so the cigarette burns in the top, which were definitely added in post. I mean, obviously you can't do that in you can't do that in camera. It came across as really gimmicky to me. Like, I see what he wanted to do, and he wanted to make it. He wanted it to be like this. Like you're watching this movie on Netflix at your home, and you get this like cool effect that you would have seen in a movie theater 10 years ago or 15 years ago or something like that. Or back in the 30s, right? Like you would have seen that, and it gives you that movie theater experience at home. But really, to me, it comes across as disingenuous. It comes across as just sort of, I don't know, like YouTube tier, you know, like something you would see like in a YouTube video, and not like in a feature film. So, John S. says, saw it in theaters a bit ago, didn't really like it. I expected more from Fincher than another poorly structured biopic, I never know how to say that, where the characters are less people and more Wikipedia articles. Yeah, I thought that the movie was very shallow. So for anyone who doesn't know much about Mank, before you get in, so how it works is that the writing of Citizen Kane is used more as a frame narrative. So it's not so much like, oh, it's about the writing of Citizen Kane. Like, it is and it isn't. I'd say that the main story of the film is about the gubernatorial election in 1934. And as Mank is writing the script to Citizen Kane, he is remembering this big election and stuff that led up to it and stuff that, you know, happened after it. And how it affected his relationship with Hearst and with Louis Mayer and with a number of other people like Hearst's mistress, Marion. And it's about his it's almost like the rise and fall of like his friendships with these people. And so it sets up this sort of story that it's because he became disillusioned with the people that he was working for, the people he considered his friends. If Mankiewicz could ever consider anybody his friends, because he's kind of a toxic guy. But it's sort of like it's his falling out with them that led him to wanting to make Citizen Kane, and it definitely does. It definitely does err on the side of like saying that Mank was behind all of Citizen Kane, but it doesn't really go that in detail about it. And the way that it sort of leaves that whole story, like it cuts from basically, now spoiler, I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler, but it basically ends when he finishes the rough draft of it. And so it doesn't really show, anyone who knows anything about writing knows that writing is rewriting. And so Orson kind of comes in for this like the rewriting process, and then it cuts straight to the Academy Awards, and that's how it ends. Is, you know, Citizen Kane won the Academy Award for Best Writer, and it was awarded to Orson Welles and Herman J. Mankiewicz. And so back then it wasn't even like it wasn't a point of contention until 1971 when Pauline Kael wrote her article in the New Yorker called Raising Cain. But for that article in the New Yorker, she only interviewed basically anti-Welles people. She only interviewed people that maybe had something against Welles, or basically she did not actually ask Welles anything, and she didn't ask Peter Bogdanovich, who before he was a film director was Welles's historian, or like his biographer. And that's why Peter Bogdanovich plays that role in on the other side of the wind. Yeah, so he had. So if there's one expert on Orson Welles in this world, it's Peter Bogdanovich. But she didn't ask either of them anything about it. It was really just a hit piece on Orson Welles, but it was that hit piece that inspired David Fincher's dad, Jack Fincher, to write Mank. And Mank has been around. The script has been around for like 30 years. I want to say it's been like 30 years, and so this. Like, I understand that Mank is a sort of passion project for David Fincher because, like, it's his dad's baby of a film. But even David Fincher had to say that he had to tone down, like, the anti-Welles sentiment that was in Mank, which is why I think that Welles doesn't play that big of a role in this film. But I'm kind of glad that Welles didn't play that big of a role because I wasn't a fan of the actor that they cast. The actor's like 38 or 39, and he's playing as a 24-year-old. And for me, that just doesn't really work. He had the right voice, but he did not have the right look. Like, maybe it's just because Welles was so, in the spotlight, and it's like I love his movies. I love Welles' acting and his movies and stuff. Like, I watched Lady from Shanghai yesterday, and I'm going to rewatch after this stream. I'm going to rewatch The Magnificent Ambersons, which is a great film. But, of course, Welles doesn't really act in it. He voices it. But, like F for Fake, Touch of Evil, The Third Man, of course, like, great performance. And I think it's just because Welles has like this big public image. People know what he looks like. People know what he acts like. And when you get another actor, it's just like when you get an actor to play as another actor, especially like a really well-known actor, there's always going to be this element of uncanniness. It's going to be a bit in the uncanny valley. Oh, hey, Oki, how's it going? Yeah, so this jacket is Italian. It's an Italian leather jacket. It's real leather. It's probably my favorite jacket. I wear it all the time. I wore it in the video for Ordinary Things. If you guys go check out Ordinary Things, his channel, he's blown up in the last week and a half. He was at like 55,000 subs, but now I want to say, let me look up his channel now because wait a second, Ordinary Things. Holy cow. He's at 194,000 subscribers right now. He literally was at 55,000 subs a week and a half ago. He's gained like 150,000 subs in the course of 10 days. It's absolutely insane. I remember calling him, I think it was the day or 2 days after Thanksgiving. So I called him like last like Saturday or something. I gave him a call, and he had jumped up from 55,000 to like 80,000 subs. And we were both like, holy shit, like, can you believe it? Like your channel's going insane. And, yeah, and he's like, and, we're freaking out about that now. And now just to think back that was like a week ago, and he hadn't even hit 100K yet. Now he's almost hitting 200K. Like, that's insane. It's crazy. So, but he's got a lot of ideas about stuff to do. I'm in his video about Uber. So if you guys want to check out his video about Uber drivers, I am the Uber speedrunner. It was like maybe a month ago or something, maybe 2 months ago at this point. He just like called me on a weekend, and he was like, "Hey Peter, I've got like something to ask you. Like, could you get me some shots like from Drive, like in the next 24 hours?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I did, like a redneck sort of guerrilla filmmaking to get that. like one shot of it where you see my hand and I'm driving on the steering wheel. I was driving, holding my camera rig like here, driving, and just hoping and praying to God that the cops weren't gonna like come. And I don't know how legal that was, but the shot ended up looking pretty cool. So the ends justify the means in that respect.
How long have you known him for?
Oh, hey Vince.
What's up?
So I've known Ordinary Things for, I want to say, about a year. Yeah, I mean, I've known him since his channel was at like 12 to 13,000 subscribers. Yeah,
It's crazy because he was there for probably like a good year. Like he was,
Yeah.
I think he only got 8,000 within a year, and then within 2 weeks, I mean, where is he at now? Like 170,000 or something?
no, he's at 194,000.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is insane.
I know, it's super
It's
insane.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy seeing the growth because literally it was like last week I saw and he was like at 40,000.
Yeah,
And then it was like one day he was like at 80,000, and then it was just like overnight.
It's literally overnight. And it's funny because we talked like all summer long about how like neither of our channels were growing, and we're like, oh gosh, when something's got to happen. And of course, I mean, I'm glad that he blew up. I like it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
He's
and
been all over my recommended for like the past month or something.
yeah, he has, and he's been all over my recommended, even videos that I watched. Oh, so guys, I want to introduce some of my friends in here. We got Vince Vintage. He's got a great video on Hunter Biden. You guys should go check out. And we have Oki's Weird Stories, Gay Frogs video, but
Oki.
also he's working on a. I don't know if you want me to.
Well, I've talked about Jacob Wall.
Jacob Wall. So
Yeah.
he's got a big video that he's working on about Jacob Wall, and tonight I'm gonna watch that Japanese movie.
Dude, do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that Japanese movie. So we'll be doing something together here pretty soon. I want to address some of the comments in here. Fincher isn't bad at characters though. I'm watching Mindhunter right now, and the main characters are well done, and the character dynamics that make Mindhunter work so well. Yeah, so the guy,
Did he write Mindhunter?
I think so, and he directed it. Yeah, I actually know one of the actors from Mindhunter. I knew him.
Nice.
I knew him several years ago. His name is Sonny Valicenti, and he plays as the serial killer in season 2. As the main serial killer in season 2. Super nice dude. Really cool. He did some like, I want to say a few years ago, he was doing like this like, sort of like expressionistic or like really sort of avant-garde theater over in like Poland or something like that. Like he was touring like this super cool sort of cutting edge type of movement-based theater that he was doing in like Eastern Europe. Really cool guy though. So
Here, I have a question for the chat.
yeah.
Is there any movies that you want to see Kino do, like review or talk about?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Although I will sort of say this. I think I have an abnormal latency, so there's going to be a little bit of a delay.
Yeah,
But-
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Dude, do Ace in the Hole.
Oh, I love Ace in the Hole. Rip,
That's a good one.
Rip Kirk Douglas.
You know what would be interesting to see is if you were to do a breakdown of a film that was like, I don't understand how this is so popular. It's more of like, instead of like the positive critique of like, oh, they made it like this and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
maybe kind of seeing where movies, like Spring Breakers or just like a really dumb movie.
I like
And
Spring
I like
Breakers.
Spring Breakers.
Or not.
Look,
not
oh my
Spring
God,
Breakers,
Ramadan Steve says Spring Breakers is funny games.
Yeah.
Those are good movies.
Yeah, those are good. I love Spring Breakers.
But just like a really dumb movie, and it's like, how the heck did this thing even get made? Like, I can't believe there's an entire market for this. Like, more of just like a rip on just like a
well, we'll see. The thing
Star
is,
Wars.
like Star Wars. Like, why does the modern Star Wars like suck? Or it's something to kind of like. I think that.
Why does Star Wars suck in general? It's a real question.
Look, I'll
Ace in the Hole.
tell everyone why Star Wars sucks in general. It's because
Here, wait,
they're
wait.
glorified toy commercials. That's what Star Wars
Yes.
is. It's a
Yes.
glorified toy commercial. Just saw Chimes at Midnight. I mean, like,
Space Cop? Wait, so we got.
No, but
Metropolis.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Actually, Space Cop might be interesting.
yeah.
Has anybody actually done like a critique of Space Cop,
Okay,
that
okay.
Red Letter Media movie? Like,
Okay, so
that'd be
I will.
interesting.
So I will tell you. What I'm focusing on this month and next month is setting up series on my channels, right? Setting up because it's all about branding on YouTube, right? So Citizen Kane was the first in my Making a Masterpiece series, but I added in sort of retroactively. I added in my Until the End of the World video because it sort of it fits into the ethos or into the whatever, because it's all about how the movie was made, and it's a film that I consider a masterpiece. So I retroactively put Until the End of the World into there. My next big video is going to be the Beginner's Guide to Cinema, which I'll be making with Ordinary Things.
Nice.
And he's going to be doing a breakdown of the Czech New Wave on there, which is going to be fun. Because Ordinary Things is a huge kinophile. He's a kinographer,
Nice.
And so that is going to be like, so that is going to be like basically an abridged history of cinema. So what that video is going to be, and I'm planning on releasing this at Christmas. It's like my special, Christmas special or something like that. So what that video is going to be is just sort of like, okay, so you want to get into film, and I am, like how I got into film was I watched movies basically from the beginning of film up until the modern day. I just sort of did not watching every film, but getting a good sort of sense of each era of filmmaking, the progression of things, regression of other things, and things like that. Well, giving yeah.
Oh, have you? Okay, so there's this guy on YouTube, and he did this review. He's like a he works in the film industry, but he did this breakdown on why Suicide Girls or Suicide Squad was just such a terrible ass movie.
Yeah,
and I think it's like one of his biggest videos.
Your Movie Sucks, I think, did that.
Yeah,
and stuff like that's interesting because it's like, I'm not in the film like that much, but I think a lot of what would make me into good films is realizing why is it that some of the films today suck, because I mean every time I've talked to you, there's you always have a lot to say. You're like, oh, this thing sucks, like blah blah blah, but I think
I'm
that's
very
interesting because
you should.
No, but
I think that
it's
Vince actually has a point here.
Yeah.
Like, sprinkle in every once in a while like one movie, like you just
like
shit on the
Suicide
movie.
Squad. How did this movie
Every
bring
once
in
in a
over
while.
$100 million or whatever I don't know how much it did, but
China.
maybe
just
I'll call that my series. I'll call it like the Black
movies
Pill.
that you think are movies that you think are masterpieces but are really dumpster fires, like something like that. Like movies that people just revere, but the reality is no, these movies suck.
Yeah. Although if I'm gonna be really edgy, I would say my one that could make it to that list is Casablanca. I really do not understand the liking, the reverence for Casablanca. I think it's.
See, that's interesting because it's I can find a jillion things on why some, Casablanca is, it's the greatest film of all time, blah, blah, blah. But to hear the opposite side of it, just to hear something different, that's interesting to me because if I want to get a positive review, that's pretty much a lot of the internet with movie reviews. It's everything's positive. Like, go on IMDb, everything's positive. But to have a negative take, I think would be super, I would love that personally. Like, I like hearing more about how a movie sucks than how it's good.
Yeah, but the thing
that works on YouTube.
The thing about that is there's a huge market for that on YouTube. Like there's so many I Hate Everything sort of started that. Maybe he didn't start.
No, YMS.
YMS.
The Nostalgia Critic actually.
Yeah, Nostalgia Critic. YMS.
Yeah, they all
Are you even hearing
and then.
Why is it movies are better than TV shows? Like, why are TV shows getting made with a lot more production value and story today than our movies? Like, because I feel like today the art is really in doing TV shows. Like, that's where you're seeing a lot of the
No, I wouldn't say that.
I think
dude.
Nah.
TV shows, especially the Netflix shows, they're all focus group to death, and they're all.
But then talk about it. That's interesting. I don't know about that. Hearing about how
they're all
Gambit. Everyone's revering it as this great thing, but it's just a very basic storyline. The thing's, it's not that great. or just something like that. Like that would be so interesting.
So, all right. So I am sort of making a series to kind of butt in here, where I'm starting off with Internet Historian's video on whatchamacallit, The Pirate, Ordinary Things. And now that video is going to be more of like a shitpost type video, but I'm thinking of like turning it into a series reviewing YouTuber movies and trying to break down like what went wrong or what didn't, or like and maybe why they worked or why they didn't. I think that a lot of YouTuber movies, like I'd say that the YouTuber who really was able to get into movies and be fairly successful at it was Pony Smasher, who made
Who's that?
He made Lights Out and Shazam.
Oh, okay, yeah, David Sandberg.
David Sandberg, yeah. So Lights Out, not too great, but Shazam was pretty good. Like Shazam was fun. It was basically big, but a superhero, and it's not like high art or anything, but it was fun.
The mystery guitar man.
I have a quick question, Kino.
Movie called Arctic.
So Kino, I have a quick question.
Apparently, it's good.
Do you think, as a whole, do you hate more movies or do you love more movies? Like, which one are you in the boat more of? Like, do you think there's more terrible movies, or do you think there's like? Because I feel like you have a lot of passion when it comes to like movies you hate. You're just like, man, this thing is so stupid.
Well,
like, got this. Like, how does anyone like this? Like.
Yeah, actually, so I would say this.
Like, I love hearing your viewpoint on that kind of stuff. That's all I'm saying. It's very interesting to hear you talk about like something I liked and then hear about like why it sucks. Like, I love hearing that.
Well, I would say this though, is that typically like if I feel like I want to say Night of the Hunter is sick. I have the Criterion Blu-ray of that. I've seen it multiple times. Robert Mitchum is one of my all-time favorite actors. But I just want to say that like if it looks like I'm not gonna like a movie, I typically just don't watch it because I just don't want to do I don't know. I just don't want to spend time with something that I don't think I'll like. It's really just as simple as that. So Anne says you should do a review on a film that got a bad remake, go into why the original works and why the remake blows. Something like Straw Dogs. Yeah, that would be really good. This remake of Straw Dogs was awful, and the original Straw Dogs is one of my favorites.
Yes, like, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, tell me why it sucks. Like, tell me why it's a terrible movie. Like, I love hearing that because it's
never
like
seen the remake.
you have to hate watch it.
It's England.
Yeah, it's England in the original, and the thing is that the original is great because of how Peckinpah really understands atmosphere and really understands like how to build everything up, and it's built like a Western, because he's the guy from out of town. He's like the Dustin Hoffman is. He's the stranger coming into this town, and it's like the gang of people that kind of go up against him or whatever. And so it's structured like a Western with the final sort of fight, near the end, but it's just done so well. And
why does the new
dude,
one
that movie has the weirdest rape scene of all time.
Oh yeah,
like that is the most red-pilled fucking rape scene ever.
Double.
So why does the new one suck of Straw Dogs?
Acting is terrible. Tension is just tone is all over the place. Bad cinematography. It's just like it's. What another film that was just like Peckinpah understood violence as well. That's true. I love Peckinpah's movie that I don't see anybody talk about called Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that movie.
That's gret, dude. The scene where
that's
they get
so fucking gritty.
Yeah,
that is just like
I don't want to I don't want to spoil anything, but the scene where they get to the cemetery and they realize something is just brutal. Like, oh
dude,
my god.
Yeah.
Wait, Kino, so you still haven't seen Breaking Bad?
No, I have not seen Breaking Bad.
That is a crime. That is a absolute crime.
Okay, so I don't really watch
You should watch
television.
it.
I don't really watch television, but everyone has been telling me for years to watch Breaking Bad, and I'm kind
Dude,
of.
I'm telling you, Breaking Bad is like one of the greatest TV shows of all time, up there with Sopranos. It is
Yeah.
that.
I
The
know.
Sopranos
There are like a handful of TV shows that like you can actually say are like, I don't know, you can compare them to like great novels, like epic novels or
It is.
something, or
Yeah.
like, you know, like great cinema or something.
Like
But like, I don't know, a lot of TV just sucks.
A lot of
There was
TV shows suck, but like this, if you watch The Sopranos or you watch Breaking Bad, it changes your mind about what television can do. Like I think that's the
Yeah,
big
it
part of
was-
Sopranos was that it showed everyone that you can move beyond just like a typical like, you know, like you can have a TV show that's like a fucking like a novel, you know, and it just.
You know what was
I
really
love
fucking
Sopranos.
good?
It was
What
so
was
good.
really fucking good was the Fargo season 1,
Yes.
2, and 3.
Fargo was
like,
amazing on Netflix.
I actually was really suspect about that because of like, you know, okay, so they're remaking Fargo into a TV show. What
Yeah.
what a fucking cash grab. But it actually, like, the first 3 seasons are really fucking good. Apparently the 4th season like just sucks, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Have
I saw the first season of Fargo.
Better Call Saul, great. Yeah.
I'm really bad at watching television. Just because.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
telling you, Breaking Bad is like that. Seriously changed my mind about what TV could be. Like
Yeah,
I don't think there'll never be a show ever like Breaking Bad for a long time. It's still talked about to this day, and the show ended 7 years ago or something. I mean,
Yeah, I'm seeing this in the chat. Literally the only show I ever sort of religiously watched was Twin Peaks. I can tell you a lot
Haven't
about
seen that.
Twin Peaks: To Return. I waited for that Showtime Sunday night for like I watched that. That was great. Episode 8 of Twin Peaks: To Return. I'm gonna recount the poem from it because it's Kino. This is the water, this is the well. Drink full and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and the dark within. Oh my God! When you have that Abraham Lincoln impersonator dude saying that poem nonstop in this black and white like post-apocalyptic and setting, and he's like crushing people's skulls in, and there's like a slug that's going into people's mouths. Oh my God, that was great. That is Kino.
here, wait, I have a question for the chat.
Sure.
So what would the chat like to see from the Kino live streams? Like,
Mando Brown says, trash humpers. Okay, so he says,
I
are
haven't
there?
seen that.
I didn't care for it. He says, are there any movies you want to watch but can't because of limited or expensive prints? For me, it's Harmony Korine's Trash Humpers and all the Eric Romer Moral Tales. I've seen the Eric Romer Moral Tales. They were up on the Criterion Channel. I think they still are. They're good. My Night at Mods, the La Collection is, Claire's Knee, very good stuff. Game of Thrones was great, but it went downhill from base to woke. You know, I never could really get into Game of Thrones. Like I don't know. It's just too. It's like it. Okay, so it's like nerdy, but it's also sort of like cringe and normie. You know what I mean? Like at the same time. What was the best decade for movies? I think it depends upon. So that depends upon the country. But in the U.S., I honestly think it's the 70s. The 70s had some great films. I mean, you had like Cassavetes in his prime. You had Scorsese.
I was just about to bring Cassavetes up. I actually don't like Cassavetes.
You don't?
Shoot me. I don't particularly like any. I don't know if there's any Cassavetes movie that I would say is like above like a 6 out of 10 for me. I just don't.
Okay,
I don't get
so here's
the
the thing.
adoration for Cassavetes.
if I wanted to start some great films that you think are all Kino, you know, like they're Kino approved, like where do I start? You know, like for someone like me.
So that's what my
Like,
video about the beginner's
There
guide
we
to
go.
cinema is going to be about. So basically, I'm going to break it down and say like here are all the different eras, and I think that to understand like maybe why a film was considered great in the 40s,
Yes.
you need to know like where film was at that point in history. Because if
Yes.
you're going in there with like a mindset, like from 2020 mindset, you're going back and watching a film from 1934, and you're like, man, I don't get this, like blah blah blah, like it's boring, it's outdated, it's stuff like that, and you can't appreciate it for what it was. Now there are films from back then, and I think that the best films you can just watch blindly, and you can still enjoy it. Like I was surprised, honestly, by actually by like how modern Citizen Kane still feels when I rewatched it a few weeks ago. I'm like, man, this movie feels like it could have been made yesterday, honestly.
Dude, White Heat is so fucking fast paced, and then like also even like, I mean, if you want to go like way back, like Battleship Potemkin.
Yeah.
It actually feels like it's almost like the same pacing as like Dunkirk or something. Like it is really fucking fast paced and really engaging the whole time.
And I know that I'm gonna like one movie that is a must watch. You don't necessarily have to agree with what the movie's saying or have to really like its message or anything, but is Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation.
Yeah. It's just one of those films where you're just like, you should watch it. You don't necessarily have to agree with anything in it. Actually, the first half of it is fine. Like, the first half of it is a pretty good Civil War film that's just about how a family was split up on two different sides of the war, and it was like cousins and brothers had to fight each other. And it's sort of like, I remember watching it in school, and I would, in the first half of it, I just kept thinking, well, why do people like get mad at this movie so much? Like, what's the deal? Like this is a normal Civil War movie. And then the second half comes around, and you're like, oh, okay, I see. I'm like, all right, this makes sense.
I think it galvanized like the KKK or something.
It was used as a propaganda film for the KKK. But the thing that it did, and the thing that it's like, but the reason why you have to watch it is you have to understand where film was at that time. That there wasn't this concept of basically having two sequences happening at the same time and intercutting to create tension. That really wasn't a thing before Birth of a Nation. The Birth of a Nation really sort of popularized, or even, some would say invented the idea that of intercutting between scenes to create tension. Things weren't like D.W. Griffith, when he went into the cutting room of that, didn't look at it as like this happens linearly, this happens linearly, or whatever. It was like, yeah, we're going to kind of mess around with time, or we're going to, and stuff like that. And that's how we're going to make this compelling film. A film so compelling that the President of the United States at the time lent his, gave it a big endorsement. And
I think it's disconnecting the art from the artist. The art from the artist kind of thing. You know, like, you can look at like Lenny Riefenstahl and like be like, wow, that is Kino, but it's like literally propaganda movies made for him.
Yeah, it's literally Nazi propaganda, but it still is like very, very well made. And I think that in some way, shape, or form, Battleship Potemkin was propaganda. Strike. Really anything Eisenstein made was Soviet propaganda. Like, let's be honest here.
Even going like further, like Red Dawn.
Oh yeah, Red Dawn is total.
It's straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's straight up Russophobic propaganda, but it's sort of like you have to be able to look past it, and you can see the art in it, and also realize that, it is kind of propagandistic. I'm going to read chat. I have not been paying attention to chat that much. Sunset Boulevard is amazing, and my favorite, yes, Sunset Boulevard is amazing. Billy Wilder, didn't he direct Sunset Boulevard? Billy Wilder was awesome.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And The Apartment.
Oh yeah, and The Apartment. Yeah, Billy
Which
Wilder.
I don't like that much. Actually.
Yeah. You know what? It's
kind of a cheesy rom-com.
Yeah, I don't know how didn't it win Best Picture?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it's cheesy as hell.
I preferred his Some Like It Hot and Sunset Boulevard. Those ones are.
Some Like It Hot is a good movie.
Yeah.
I actually really like that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Some Like It Hot is. I can watch that.
Thank you, Vince, for saying hi. Let's
You're
see.
welcome.
So somebody says, somebody asked about Triumph of the Will. Yes, we talked about that, I guess. 70s was great. Someone's put Harold and Maude, ACWO.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
Harold and Maude.
Harold and Maude is great. What's
Yeah.
ACWO? I mean, that's in Days of Heaven. I'm trying to think, what does ACWO stand for?
ACWO, Days of Heaven, the Terrence Malick movie?
No. It's ACWO, and then he says it in Days of Heaven. I love Days of Heaven.
So Kino,
it's a great movie.
So what's like your favorite? Like, what is it that you love about movies so much? What's the thing where is it like is it being like in a certain place in your head? Is it like a feeling? Like what is it that makes you love films?
I think the thing that really makes me love films is I think that when I go into a film, I'm not trying to think of the film, oh, Clockwork Orange. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not trying to think of the film in any sort of rational sense. I don't think that that's really the right way to look at to really enjoy films. I try to when I watch a film, I don't know. Like I just try to what I really take away from it is how it makes me feel. And now that can be that it really stimulates me intellectually. That can happen, or sometimes it just really kind of hits me. It's a sort of, what they would say, like a je ne sais quoi, like it's like you don't really know. Like each film has a different goal in mind, right? Mm-hmm. Some films want to make you laugh, some want to make you cry, some want to stimulate your mind or whatever. Oki, for some weird reason, he keeps holding all of your comments for review. Like I have to like manually.
Yeah, I don't know. That it's something with yeah, I don't know. YouTube's weird like that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Do you have like a super imaginative do you have like a crazy not a crazy imagination, but are you like when you if you were to read like a fantasy book, can you really see what's going on? Like is it more of do you have that, or are you very more of like the rational, like you can't imagine things that well, not that well, but you know what I mean? How some people are more imaginative.
I kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like they say people that are way more imaginative, they love reading like fantasy books a lot more, and they're more likely to be hypnotized. But it's that ability to be able to like almost be like teleported in your head to a certain place.
Yeah.
Do you have something? Are you kind of like that, or?
Yeah, but I don't typically like fantasy stuff. I like, I don't know, I like mystery or like noir, or like more kind of surrealist stuff as well, like House of Leaves. I like that sort of stuff, like if I'm gonna be on the plane I read The Stranger, that depressed me to all hell.
Yeah.
It's something you can read in like an hour. It's super short.
Get the fucking name of the author who
Camus.
wrote that. Yeah,
Camus.
Kills the Arab Frenchman at the end of it.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it's just literally it's such a French thing where it's like I kill a man and then I die at the end. But I mean,
it's
there's a lot
so
more.
Like nihilistic throughout the whole thing. He doesn't give a shit. Even his grandfather dies, he goes to the funeral. He doesn't really care.
Yeah, he just
kind of hangs out with people for a bit, and then there's a confrontation on the beach, and he kills the Frenchman, and then there's this whole argument, this whole theistic argument at the end of it. That's like the best part of it.
The last chapter.
Yeah. Can I actually answer that question, Vince? Because I actually like that question. For me, like, I've always been attracted to movies, more so than video games, more so than TV, more so than anything else, really. And it was like, I guess I was kind of like an insular kid, and like I stayed home a lot, and I kind of like experienced life through movies in a lot of ways. And I learned, and I felt like I was learning about life. They're just not movies, but fiction in general. And there was also just the attraction of just being like, I want to up my power level. I want to like watch more shit and know more shit. And like I've always just been attracted to just pop culture, you
Mhm.
know, and knowing about movies, I guess. And I just love them. I love movies so much.
Like more
Yeah.
of having the feeling of like you can actually, you know what I mean? Sometimes you like read a really good book, but it's more. This is more common in children, but it's like where they read, you know, like you see it with children, where they like when you're playing the lava game, like you actually like almost visualize the lava on the ground, and as adults we kind of lose that, but some people still keep that, which is it's a good thing because it's
Yeah,
your ability to get lost in a book, get lost in, you know, you read a really good book and you get lost in it, you know, and you can't wait to turn the page and.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
growing
And
up, that was
I just want to add to that is you're talking about reading, but I'm just going to say from writing because I write scripts. You know, I write screenplays, and it was funny that in my Citizen Kane video I talked about the difference between a script doctor and a writer, and now I worked as a script doctor a couple of years ago, so I know about working a lot. Like I do, you know, just like kind of like Mank. I know what it's like to work on a script a lot and then not get any credit for it, and you know, and how that can be depressing. You know, it's you feel like it's just as much yours as it is the other person's. But when I write, I imagine myself in this world. I try to write for my scripts. I have basically two different things that I write about, and that is like very kind of realistic, you know, like socially realist sort of stuff. And usually when I write that, when I direct that kind of stuff, I take a more of like a Mike Lee approach. Not quite to the extent of what Mike Lee does with improvisation. Maybe more along the lines of like Altman or something, where I try to make it feel as real as possible. And that's stuff that I almost see, like when I write like that, I almost see that as being almost like a diary of mine. You know, I'm kind of writing from my own experience or experiences of my friends or family and stuff like that. And that's very like diary sort of style writing. But then I have another like my other big thing that I like to write is very stylized, very stylized sort of films, film noir, like noir western type of scripts. And when I write those, I really get sucked into the world. And when I'm really in the process of writing, I'll like be in the shower, right? And my reality then becomes the reality of whatever script, because I'm thinking about what scene, you know, like I'm thinking about how to like improve the scene or something like that, or you know, I'm thinking about all that all the time, and sometimes like I'll daydream and daydream in the real sense, you know, where I kind of forget about the entire reality around me, and I am in my film, sort of analyzing how something could be better. You know, if that makes sense. I mean, that's how I write. I typically like place myself in the films and not as the characters, because I hope to God that I'm not the main characters in any of my movies. Like, trust me, that some of the stuff I write, they're not exactly model citizens.
but being able to fantasize and visualize and really almost kind of put yourself in the place of the story, maybe even as like a third person in the story, but really,
Yeah, no,
it's
as
kind
like
of
a
like
third person.
yeah. So you are more of like that like fantasizer type personality, which is a good thing. You know, that's what people are highly creative like that.
And I think
Some people are
yeah,
very literal.
I think
Vince,
that's why
what do you wait? What do you like? What's
Yeah.
going on? Like, because like I want to understand. Like,
Vince is our therapist.
because because I get what Kino's saying here, and I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Where you're not like you're different, right? Like you have a different sort of way of seeing the world.
It's just an
seems
interesting
like-
question. It's
No, it is
like
interesting.
it's
I
a
just
very
want to
interesting
understand
topic.
it- understand it from your perspective. Like,
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I've always been very like imaginative. You know, just very You know, like, I mean, it's kind of not like embarrassing, but I mean, I feel like a lot of people have had like imaginary friends, you know, growing up, like the person you wanted to have your friend, or right?
Yeah.
Or is that too weird now?
No, I had imaginary friends. Yeah.
No, yeah.
But everyone, you know, you have that growing up, and then just having like very, you know, like imaginative play with like friends, and you know, even today, just being able to like imagine things, and you know, because I do like a lot of copywriting. So a lot of it is like I'll sit there and like try to imagine it from the customer's point of view, and I would say I'm pretty imaginative. Like I can get really sucked into like a great book, you know. But obviously you're doing screenwriting, which is like a lot. You know that's where emotionally it really takes a toll on you. I can imagine of like feeling yourself in the story, and right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say yeah.
Are you stuck in your head a lot, Vince?
Yeah, I get stuck in my head a lot just on sometimes I'll just sit there and think like, what are people going to think about this? Like, should I even do this? But then a lot of times you have to learn to just turn it off and just kind of get to the ground on whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But like we're talking about like imagining, I would say in the sense of like creating stories, I think I'm imaginative, but I feel like a lot of people think that way. Actually, no.
I think it's also just like I think anybody can do it. I don't know.
Anybody can do it, but it takes a lot of practice, and you know, like part of growing up, a lot of being like a child is like imaginative play. Like, I don't know if you've seen those new ads that Play School has had, or I think it's Target or Toys R Us, but they have these really creative ads. So like, they have like it's like a little toddler, and she's on like a tractor in like a huge farm, and there's like all these cows and everything, and she's like farming. And then the camera kind of like zooms out, and then it's kind of like she's in her room on like a play tractor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen them, but they're very creative ads. Like they had one where it's like these guys like racing in these cars, and it's like this toddler in their car, and they're racing. And then it zooms out, and then it's like a Hot Wheel set, and then it says like Hot Wheels. You can get them at Target today. But it's just that really like showcases like when you're a kid, that's the kind of stuff you really think of, you know?
Yeah. Oh, hey, Andrew's
at least how you should.
Andrew's in the chat. He says, "Yo, what's the backdrop for you, Kino?" I am at my clinic. But we've been celebrating, we've been decorating for Christmas, so hence the Noel behind me and poinsettias, and we even have a Christmas tree here. So, yeah, no. But the thing about children with imagination, I'm kind of glad that I grew up like pre-internet. I mean, not necessarily pre-internet, but I didn't have internet in my house until I was like 13 or 14 years old. I didn't have social media till I was like 16. You know, and I kind of grew up in this time when you would just go on the internet for like very basic things. You know, it was just sort of like, oh, I just have to look this up, or it's like people didn't really care about the internet that much.
Like here's something I have to say. Like, so you said when you're in the shower,
yeah,
you're thinking of like, you know, you're kind of diving yourself into the story and you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I know, and a lot of doing that is out of boredom. You know, when you're there with like absolutely like nothing to do, you're sitting in your room. That's almost like when you're the most creative.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Is that the thing with kids now is I see this because I work in a pediatric clinic. Is a lot of kids, they have iPads. They're constantly online. They're constantly filling their time with something. They're you know, they're watching videos, or you know, they're playing Minecraft on their iPads or something like that. I don't want to, and now like it's not like I'm against that, because obviously like I played computer games as a kid and stuff like that, but it was sort of like I had to be at the computer, and I could only play for a certain amount of time, and then I just couldn't, you know, like it was like I would get like an hour a day or something like that. And I did get bored a lot, but it was really in my boredom as a kid that I learned how to be creative. And I liked watching movies, and, you know, and I liked being able to like watch a film and then pretend that I was the character in there and kind of play around. Like I loved Toy Story as a kid, and I had a costume of both Buzz and Woody, and I would dress up, pretend I was Buzz and Woody.
It's a super fun thought, you know, like that's why that movie, it strikes home with even like a lot of adults. Like my mom, she loves that movie because it takes you back to when you were a kid, and it's like, I guess it's more of that. It's very interesting. It's just like that what if scenario. Like, what if toys actually? It's just that's so interesting. But
Yeah.
like with the video game thing, like, like I feel like if you look at like video games today, I feel like that's what they said about television in the 60s and the 50s, on how like kids just watch television all the time and they're not going outside and their brains are rotting. But even through the television, you can still be imaginative and like if you see like Minecraft today, like that's such a popular game with kids, and it's not like Minecraft has a story. I mean, it kind of has a little story to it, but a lot of kids play it to make their own story. Like you see the biggest Minecraft YouTubers. Have you seen that Dream? He's like a huge Minecraft YouTuber.
I've heard of him, but I haven't seen any of this. I don't really watch a whole lot of YouTube, so you'll have to like.
But so his videos are about. So he's playing Minecraft, and then he'll do these like. You ever seen that BuzzFeed Unsolved? Those mystery series they have. They're super popular. Well, if you haven't seen them, it's like a mystery crime series. So he was doing like a Minecraft unsolved mystery within the game, and that's what's his video. Like he had a storyline in the video, and a lot of kids like watching that because it's like he does these like murder mysteries, and this is all within Minecraft too.
Okay.
And I think children's imaginations will always be there, and it's just different like modes of expressing it. Like think about Minecraft, why it's so popular. You can build whatever you want. You can do anything you want. It's not like Fortnite where it's like a set game. This is what it is. Like, I guess it's like I would say Minecraft is like the Legos of today.
Yeah, that's what I've pretty much what I've said for a while is that Minecraft is like the Legos of today. Now, I don't necessarily have anything against Minecraft because I do see it as being like a canvas, where it's like it is like a creative canvas. My main thing is, I guess where my issues just sort of lie is. It's not just something to do with kids. It's something to do with just society as a whole. And it's just that it's like now with the phones in our pockets and with everything. I mean, I'm even guilty of this. It's like you feel like you have to be constantly stimulated. It is this feeling of like you have to constantly be stimulated by something, whether or not you're listening to music or if you're listening to a podcast or if you're in a Discord call or whatever, or if you're on Twitter. It's just sort of like I've been trying to sort of cut back on a lot of stuff, and sometimes with varying degrees, like when you're in an airport, right, like I was, and with literally nothing to do. Although when I was actually flying back from California this a week ago, I was editing my Citizen Kane video, so I had quite a lot to do. But when you're sitting in an airport, it's like, I kind of did fall off. But I mean, during Thanksgiving, I really kind of stayed off that whole week. I kind of stayed off of a lot of stuff. But it is like in contemporary society, people do feel like they have to be constantly stimulated. And I think that does kind of kill creativity. It depends upon what you're stimulating yourself with, though. And I find that I get more creative because I get more creative if, like, instead of listening to some stupid, I don't know, like, commentator on YouTube, I honestly really don't like listening to any of that shit. But, like, it's better for me if maybe I, when I'm driving to work in the morning, I don't know, listen to, like, a college lecture or something about some philosophy topic or something like that. And then while I'm at work and I'm not, I'm not like constantly stimulating myself because I'm just working kind of mindlessly, I can sort of ponder that all day. And
dude,
I
want to slap anybody whenever I show them like a good movie and like they come over and then they fucking are looking at their phones half the time. I want to fucking punch them in the face.
Oh, it's the most insulting thing.
That was super
I hate
insulting.
it. It's like, dude, I was watching The Drop. This was like years ago.
Wait, I have to get going right now. But
right. I'll see you, Vince.
This was a great chat.
This is a Vince Vintage. Everyone in the chat should go check him out. He has a very good channel.
Only if you like it.
Biden's dick.
Yeah, he has a whole video dedicated to Hunter Biden's shenanigans. So that
with the length and the girth.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
dude.
I'm just kidding.
So Hunter
great
Biden,
researcher, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, Kino, awesome live stream. I had a great time.
All right. See you, Vince.
Thanks, a great chat.
Thanks for coming on.
I'll catch you guys.
Yeah, see you,
Take
man.
care, dude. Peace out.
But, yeah, so I really do not like it when people look on their phones. And I really don't like it, too, especially if it's, like, a movie that I really like. And I'm just sort of like... Because I get really excited when I show people movies. Some people, I think they have the wrong impression about me. Where they're like, oh, you've seen so many movies, like, you must be a snob. And, like, oh, how can I even talk to you because I haven't seen as many movies as you? And I'm like... No, like, that's actually exciting for me because when I watch... So when I, like, take a great film that I've seen and I show it to somebody else, I'm like, this is going to blow your mind. For me, that's kind of like watching it for the first time again because I can, like, look at their reaction and I can be like, that's great. I honestly love
exciting.
It is exciting. Yeah. And then when they're, like, just not paying attention, look on their phone, going like, yeah. I'm just like, what?
It really annoys me.
It really annoys me. So if you ever want to be depressed, type my top 10 favorite films of all time into YouTube. Yeah.
Number 7, The Avengers.
Number
6.
Number 1, The
Black
Dark
Panther.
Knight. The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight, yeah. Jesus Christ.
The worst thing ever is people seeing American remakes first, then saying they don't like the original. They don't like the original. Yeah, well.
Oh.
Okay.
They remake everything now.
They remake.
They don't even care anymore. They just like.
Yeah, they're remaking Ikiru, the Kurosawa film.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they're remaking Ikiru, which is it's gonna suck. They remade Force Majeure like literally 2 years after it came out as Downhill.
Really?
Yeah. So
okay, I saw Force Majeure. Force Majeure is like a really good movie.
Yeah.
And then they fucking remade that into an American movie?
Oh, yeah. It's going to get better, Oki. Just wait. It's going to get better.
That's depressing.
You know who starred in the remake of Force Majeure?
Who?
Will Ferrell.
I hate life. Dude, what the fuck? That movie just like...
It's called Downhill. It's Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and Patrick Dunn says they remade Black Narcissus. Yeah, that's true. It's a TV show now, and Rosemary's Baby, and The Exorcist.
They remade Rosemary's Baby? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, like, just fucking come up with like original ideas. Like, you know, here's the thing too, right? Like, so what they'll do a lot of the times is they'll like take like spec scripts and they'll just try and shoehorn it into some kind of thing that they want to remake. Yeah, that's like standard protocol now. It's like, okay, we have this like a spec script that it did really well on the Blacklist.
Yeah,
1 year, and yeah, it was you know it won so many awards. So let's like change it, and we're gonna get like 7 different writers to redo it, and then we're gonna make it into something that fits into like, you know, a movie that's come out before, like, single white female. Let's just like slap that title on it, even though no one fucking knows what single white female is anymore, you know? Like, that movie came out in like 1995.
Yeah.
You know, but they'll try and use that. They'll just try and be like, it's a thing that it was popular at one point.
Oh yeah, Ramadan Steve says, isn't Parasite getting Americanized? It is, and Mark Ruffalo is starring in it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's becoming a mini series on some television network. Parasite is, and it's going to be an American. Parasite is so specific to South Korea. I don't know. It kind of blows my mind that it's even happening. Patrick Dunn says they remade Wings of Desire into City of Angels 2. That is correct. Answering John S. Yeah, I grew up listening to Yes. I have several other records. It's being remade by Adam McKay. Parasite is, I guess.
Oh, fuck that guy. That guy sucks.
Yeah, he.
That guy is like one of the worst directors. That guy is like the Michael Bay of like I'm trying to be smart movies.
Yeah, I mean, his movie on Dick Cheney just was terrible. Can't wait for the Trump rants and the new Parasite. Yeah, it's gonna feel really dated, won't it? it's gonna be I gotta restart that jazz music I had playing there. Wait a sec, let me just bring it all.
Yeah.
Video pause. Oh fuck! It's showing me an ad. Get away, ad. I can't use ad blocker in my. I guess I'm on. No, I don't want to do lo-fi beats. What the fuck is this shit? Wait a sec. Wait, sorry guys. Sorry for the language. I shouldn't be talking like this. Royalty free or with copyright free, smooth jazz. See, that's what I want. It's good schmood. Relaxing music. No copyright. Okay, here, I'll put this on. There we go. All right. There we go. Here, we're good now. We're all good. But yeah, the whole remake stuff. But I want to get into something about Mank, because you watched Mank. And I saw this tweet about Mank today that said that it's Ready Player One for nerds into old Hollywood.
I mean, yeah, to a certain degree, I guess so.
Like, there is this.
I can understand that.
Yeah. So I had this idea for. I know Vince was like, maybe you should make like a video ranting about something, and I had this idea for a video because I have this concept of weaponized nostalgia, where and Ready Player One is definitely just sort of the pinnacle of this like weaponized nostalgia, where it's just like shooting nostalgia straight into you. It's so overbearing, and it's being used as like this tactic. And like, I don't know, maybe what I want to understand is, why as a culture are we so obsessed with nostalgia right now? We have been for the last 10 years.
I don't know if it's us as a culture. It's more so like, okay, so like there was a time where those things were exciting.
Yeah.
Because like,
and you were
especially
kid.
for like 80s music, movie nerds or whatever, and like, sci-fi nerds and whatever, and then like that crossover shit happened, and then the adaptations happened, and there was a time where like Cowboys versus Aliens. Oh my god, really? Like that was really exciting.
Yeah.
And then I think now it's just so oversaturated, and who really gives a fuck anymore?
So I have my theory on it. Right, is look at when like the 80s stuff became really popular. Like the whole 80s nostalgia was big in the early 2010s. The 80s nostalgia has kind of worn off by now.
Yeah.
But it's because the people who were kids during the 80s, who have all these fond memories of it, then got into their 30s, they had stable jobs, and they had a lot of buying power. And so I think companies were like, if we really tap into this like 80s nostalgia market, it's this new sort of like demographic that now has a lot of money that can be spent. And I think that's part of the reason. That's why in the 80s there was nostalgia for the 50s.
There was okay, so it happens every once. Yeah, I think there was a theory about every 30 years that kind of nostalgia like takes hold. But also, here's the thing: there was a huge push towards geek culture in general.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In the early 2010s, and Joss Whedon was part of it, like we talked about before.
Yeah.
And the Marvel movies started coming out, and look, I mean, you look at the success of something like the early fucking X-Men movies from like 2002. It's not the same as it is now, you know?
Yeah, it's gotten a lot more refined, for better or worse.
Yeah, now they have it's like they have a conveyor belts, they have a system, they have it focus grouped, and they have it like perfected to a T, where like even like people in China who never grew up with this shit eat it up.
Yeah.
But we've now created a thing in cinema where the only movies that make money are throwbacks to shit that like fucking Redditors like. And then also, it's like, think about it. Imagine if imagine if music stagnated in the same way that movies did. And like, we're still listening to dad rock now. We're just listening to reiterations of dad rock.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is even happening?
I don't know, man. I love me some what's that band called? Fuck, what's that band called? Justin Wang tagged me in it on Instagram and asked me if I was in the band because I look like the singer. Wait, I can't believe I totally ruined my own joke because I forgot the name of the band. Like I just had like a brain fart moment. I forgot the name of the band. Oh yeah, it's Greta Van Fleet. Yeah, it's kind of like if Greta Van Fleet was like the biggest band today. Okay, so JUTV says, "Here is all my money." If he gives $10, and he said, "If only I had 10 more cents to please him, the savior. We must raise our fedoras to Brazil and Videodrome. Preservation of true Kino is vital and essential. Critics are cringe." I don't disagree with any of that.
What do you think about the whole idea that critics are like just like paid or smoozed to like just
they are
give
like,
them right?
No, I mean like I know that they are because I worked with a lot of critics, and like there was a thing. I don't know. It probably still happens, but it's not necessarily that they're schmoozed. They are sometimes. Like if you go to a critic screening of films, sometimes like the movies will like give critics like, which I would have a lot of ethical concerns about. But another thing that happens too, and this is sort of like it's something that people should know about, is that the publication, right, will tell the critic, if you give it below a certain score, we might not be able to see their next film early, and that's really important because as a critic, you want your review to be the first thing that people read, because really once people read one or two reviews, they're not really going to read any more, so you want to be the first. You know, that's a big thing to get all that ad money. And so it's sort of like and Kim Jong-un says, what do you consider critics though? Kim Jong-un is one of my most loyal subscribers. Him and Ian Frankenberry, been here since the beginning. They're the OGs.
Sick.
And so what I consider critics, when I'm talking about critics, I'm talking about critics for newspapers or like major publications.
Yeah.
So
the variety critics.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Times.
Chicago Sun-Times, stuff like that. Yeah. And so like the newspapers, they'll say like, well, we might be in sort of bad, right? With Disney might be mad at you if you give Black Panther a 3 out of 10 or something like that. And they might say that you won't be, for the next big Marvel movie, you'll have to wait and see with the rest of everybody else. In which case you won't get the drop and you won't get the clicks. And so you have, and so what they'll do is they'll say like, okay, maybe like I really didn't like Black Panther, and I
haven't seen it.
It's not worth it, dude. It's as boring a Marvel movie as you can get, honestly. But I
literally like one of the last Avengers things I saw was the first one, and then I just out of morbid curiosity, I saw the last one, and I just I didn't even understand what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
They were like, there was Supergirl, and there was some kind of there was like a fat Thor.
Yeah,
I didn't understand it.
I
didn't understand.
It wasn't great. But that's the thing though, is so like the movies aren't good, but then I think they prop it up because there are padded scores. Now that doesn't happen with every single film. Like I'm not going to say that like with every film there's going to be that kind of schmoozing and stuff like that going on. It doesn't happen with every single film. I went to plenty of like critics press screenings where nothing of the sort happened. They just showed the film and were like, all right, just write what you want about it. And it was like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Like A24 has when I was going to critics press screenings for like Under the Skin and stuff, it was very much like show the film and say what you want. So with some films,
they don't have the sway. They don't have the money.
Yeah,
they don't have the infrastructure to like
they're not Disney.
control opinion. Yeah.
And, yeah, they're not Disney. They're not 20th Century Fox or nothing like that. In fact, A24 is actually a much smaller company than I think people think they are, because they don't even distribute their own movies on home video. Like, if you actually look at who and The Lighthouse was distributed through Universal. So
yeah, they have deals with many different studios. Can I just say something real quick? Class Act Jack. Marvel movies bad. That's what you sound like. Marvel movies are bad. Class Act Jack. All right. Get Kino pilled. Get fucking Kino pilled, dude.
Patrick Dunn goes, thoughts on Under the Skin, very Kubrickian, great score, ScarJo boobies. Yeah, I actually, so an idea I had maybe back in June or July when I was first sort of starting, where I was kind of changing up my content to like shooting more, and I might still do this. Because I'm like, it would actually be pretty simple to do, is to do a video on Under the Skin where I'm pretending like I'm Scarlett Johansson luring men into black water goo. It's Jayu TV. So Jayu, he's my producer. He's my top patron. He's in the chat. Scarlett Johansson, he is also the Kino Corner's Scarlett Johansson super fan. He is sexually obsessed with her.
She has a fat ass.
She does. Booba.
Sure.
Okay, so Ramadan Steve says, I got you, Jayu, and he gives $10.10. Thank you, Ramadan Steve. Very nice of you. Kim Jong-un says, A24 is the most cult-like fan base. That is true. I never really understood that, like, cult-like nature.
A24 has its own, like, whole branding, and, like, it has its own kind of, like, the type of movie that, like, it will distribute. Or, you know, like, usually they... Yeah, like you were saying earlier, they usually do it in conjunction with other studios. But yeah. A24 is like there is an A24 type movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Now I want to
usually it stars Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Or something.
And I want to say this too. Like, so I want to say this about A24 is that if A24 existed in the 70s, right? If it existed in the 70s, it was putting out the kinds of movies it was putting out today, it wouldn't be as well revered. But I think what we have in film today is it's kind of like almost how the internet is, right? Where the internet has been sort of like when you're on the internet now, as opposed to like the mid 2000s, where everyone had their own page, everyone had their own website, you know, and things like that. If you wanted a certain thing, you had to go to a very specific website. Now it's like you go to Twitter. I mean, I don't go to Facebook. But it's like you go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's been consolidated. And I think that, you know, movies now is just sort of like you get a Disney movie, you get a Netflix movie. Like there isn't that much distinction. And A24 is, at least in a very mainstream sense, it is that sort of, it's kind of like going to Disney, where it's kind of like going to watch Netflix original film, in the sense of, you know, that it's going to be, I mean, honestly, like a lot of their output is pretty good. Like I love some of their films. I really don't love other films. But it's filled that like gap, that kind of like mainstream art house sort of mainstream indie, if that makes any sense, sort of like niche, you know, it like just like how Twitter has its own purpose and Facebook has its own purpose and YouTube has its own purpose.
It's really sad that there's like only one studio who's like trying to like make like mid or I guess low budget relative to like, you know,
they're all fairly low budget.
To Marvel movies. Yeah,
because
like there's only one studio that's actually trying to make movies for like adults rather than babies.
The thing is that there are others like Neon, which Neon released Parasite and they released Possessor, and Neon is starting to become a little bit bigger. Then you also have like The Orchard, and you also have Magnolia. But the thing is that like Magnolia specializes in releasing European films, so I typically really like films that Magnolia puts out. Like they put out, I think they put out the Pigeon Sat on a Branch Reflecting on Its Existence, which was good.
I've not
really
seen
good.
that. I haven't seen that.
And
You know, Canal Plus.
yeah, Canal Plus, Studio Canal.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
what's his name? Gaspar Noé makes movies.
Yeah, that's like the big French studio, like,
And also like Lars von Trier.
and Refn.
Yeah.
Refn does
Yeah.
it through that too. Yeah, but it's sort of like A24. I think has the best branded out of all of them, and he says, "I will Marvel pill the Kino corner if it's the last thing I do." Hey, look, Jack, it's not going to happen. All right,
I can't do it, dude.
I've literally watched, like, I think I've seen every single Marvel movie, and every time I watch it, I go, you know what? I'm going to, like, I want to like this one, and sometimes they're okay. Like, I would say that with a lot of the Marvel movies, I haven't really found any that really sucked, except maybe Black Panther. I really didn't. Like, I didn't like Black Panther at all. I didn't like Thor 2. I didn't like a few others, but most of them are just average, in my opinion. They're just average. IFC is another one. IFC distributed Boyhood. That's the independent film channel, and they're usually.
What did you think about Boyhood?
I made a video on it. You can go watch it. Video. How hot is Orson Welles? Ask somebody who's not gay, or who is gay. I mean,
I'm not gay, so
I'm not gay, so I don't know. Ask. I think Tony in my Discord, he's gay, and he thinks that Orson Welles was very hot back when he was younger. Let me see. Scrolling through Marvel movie posters on Disney Plus feels like walking past boxes of kids' breakfast cereal in the grocery store.
Yep.
Hit the nail right on the head. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's true. Patrick Dunn says, what are your top 10 movies? That is really difficult. That's really difficult. I want to say, though, that my favorite film, and it's been my favorite film for a long time, is The Tree of Life. I know that Anne Frankenberry and I were talking about this in the chat a little bit earlier. I've seen it 3 or 4 times. It's a movie that just emotionally affects me like no other film, and so I can't watch it all that much, but I haven't had a film really affect me like that movie did. And then another like, I don't know if it's, so that's my number 1. And then as far as like the rest of the top 10, like the thing is it changes so often. So I'll just kind of list off some movies that I love that are the same. To answer your question about Boyhood is in there as well. Definitely, I got to put a Bresson in there. I'd say probably my favorite Bresson is L'Argent, which is his final movie. Come and See, that's another film that is sort of like,
Come and See is good.
I love it, but I can't watch it that much. I can't watch it that often. But I'm gonna be making a video on Come and See next month. That'll be the.
What do you think about The Man Escapes?
I think
that's a Bresson movie.
That is a Bresson movie. I love A Man Escaped.
Really?
Really love it.
I thought it was kind of like, I don't know. I guess because, like, you know, you have so many other movies that kind of aped it and kind of did it better in a way. I don't know. Like, I even think, like, even Shawshank Redemption is kind of like, yeah, it's cheesy, but.
But the thing with The Man Escaped is that it's the thing. Well, the thing about Bresson is his like autistic. I want to say this, like his like. He's super autismo when it comes to making movies. I don't know if you've read his books.
No.
Okay, well, I have a 26-minute long video on Bresson, and I really go into his whole philosophy of it. And A Man Escaped really sort of goes by that, the way that he shoots everything. And I think that if you understand, like, his whole philosophy on filmmaking and how, like, each film he did was like this, almost like this, like an essay on cinematic philosophy in a sense. I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. Wait, $1 per movie. Okay, I have to list 10 movies. Okay, so let me see. I have Tree of Life. I have L'Argent, Boyhood. I have Come and See. Look, I got to put on there. Probably my favorite Wells film is Touch of Evil.
I like that one.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's better than Citizen Kane.
Yeah, I think so too. A Touch of Evil is probably my favorite Wells. Barry Lyndon, Apocalypse Now.
Oh, Barry Lyndon's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now is my favorite Coppola. I actually prefer it to the Godfather movies.
Really? That's
yeah.
interesting. All right. Yeah. I really like that movie though. Yeah.
I gotta say, Mir by Tarkovsky, Three Colors Red by Kieślowski.
All right.
And then, gosh, for number 10, like it's so hard. Like doing like a top 10 is really difficult for me because I just love a whole lot of movies. But top 10, let me go. I'll pick a Japanese movie here. Yeah, let me think of Harakiri. If I'm gonna choose a Japanese film, Harakiri.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh man, that movie is so intense. But I mean, like, there's so many other films. There's so many other films that I just like absolutely adore. I can't really fit in there. Like, I just got the Fellini box set. Like, gosh, I love Fellini, just about everything. I love Bergman. Just about anything Bergman did is just amazing. And Fassbinder for me is a little hit or miss, but there are some Fassbinder stuff I really like. Wim Wenders, Werner Herzog, Fitzcarraldo, like in Aguirre, The Wrath of God. And Nosferatu, I actually think that Nosferatu, the vampire, Werner Herzog's version.
Okay, yeah.
I prefer that to the original.
Okay, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, same, definitely.
Yeah.
Because the original's from, like,
1919 or something like that.
Yeah, dude. Let's be honest. All right, let me do mine.
Okay, yeah.
Top 10? I don't know if this is actually, like, because I don't know. It always changes, right? So Sweet Smell of Success.
Oh, that's a great one. Did you see that did you see that I used some clips from that in my Citizen Kane video?
I noticed that, yeah. About like 18 minutes in or something like that. I was about to comment. A Lost in Translation, because I'm almost like a basic white girl with that pick. Goodfellas, Days of Heaven, Taxi Driver.
Oh yeah.
Body Heat.
I haven't seen that.
That's a great movie. That's really good. Love Exposure, American movie, To Live and Die in L.A., The Long Goodbye.
The Long Goodbye is amazing.
I'm just going to keep going. All the President's Men, Repo Men.
Yep, that's good.
Boogie Nights, Amadeus.
Yeah.
The Hunt, Midnight Cowboy, White Heat, Eraserhead.
The Hunt. Did I
can keep going.
Wait, the
Transport.
Hunt.
Transporting.
The Mass Mikkelsen. The Hunt.
Yeah.
Vinterberg? Did I tell you that I met the screenwriter of that film? So I was standing outside because he had just premiered his film A Hijacking, which was really good. Very kind of like realist like approach to showing like a Somali hijacking of a Danish a Danish cargo ship, and it takes a very like anti-Hollywood, just sort of like it's essentially the antithesis to Captain Phillips. It's kind of like this is what really actually happens, but it's really good.
It's been on my watch list for like years, and I have to watch that movie.
So it was at his Dublin premiere of A Hijacking, and I knew what he looked like, but I was waiting for my friend outside of the cinema, and I was kind of standing around, and he was standing around waiting for his friends to leave too, and so we're just standing right next to each other, and I'm like, "Hey, are you Tobias Lindholm?" And he's like, "Yeah." I go, "I really liked your movie," and so I got to talk to him a bit about The Hunt, because I started asking him questions about The Hunt. I love that movie to death. I've seen it so many times. I saw that one in the theaters actually. Really like that one. Do you like Edward Yang? I do like Edward Yang. As I said, like there's just so many. Like A Brighter Summer Day, I really loved. Satan Tango. I actually really like the really long movies, because there's. So normally when I like pop on a movie, right? If I'm just going to watch like a regular film, I usually look for movies that are around like 90 minutes long. You know what I mean? I'm like 90 minutes is a good length. But there is something to like finishing a really long movie and having a sense of like accomplishment. So Edward Yang definitely. I also really like Wong Kar-wai. Like,
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, like
fucking
In the Mood for Love and Chungking
yeah,
Express.
in the mood for, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There's also another movie that like it's like the editing and the cinematography in it are just it's so fucking good and like
Yeah. Michael
there's
Han-
no
yeah.
like there's almost no story to it whatsoever, but it's just like it's just fun to watch.
Yeah, I like the way that his films look is just it's just fun to watch them. Like the way that they just look and feel. And that's what I like about like Terrence Malick up until about To the Wonder, but I really did like his latest film, A Hidden Life. It was going back to like Terrence Malick was going back to really what made Terrence Malick great. But it's that the films like you're not watching them for the story, you're watching them for the look and feel of them. 2046 as well. Hey, and wasn't 2046 like the reason that was like the apartment number in The Mood for Love? Was 2046 like that's...
I don't know about the tie-in from that, but that's what I was talking about earlier. And Frankenberry, Fallen Angels.
Yeah,
it's like there's no real story to it, but it's just like so much fun to watch. 2046, lots of fun. I don't know about the tie-in to Chungking Express though.
Yeah, there is a tie-in where it's like one of the apartments. The apartment name is 24, or the apartment number is 2046, and that's like the tie-in or whatever. I really like. I mean, there's a lot of like those kinds of films that I really like, and that's why the top 10 thing for me is just really difficult because I could honestly, if you just asked me my favorite films, I could just be talking for hours. You know what I mean? It's just like there's a film for like each mood that I'm in. Like sometimes I want something really intense, and maybe I pop on like a Clouseau, like The Wages of Fear, or something like that.
Oh, dude, yeah. You know what? I like Sorcerer more than Wages of Fear.
Really, I haven't seen Sorcerer. I've seen.
You need to watch that. I think that's actually like a superior version of the same. It's like the same story. It's just made by I think it's De Palma. I might be wrong about like Sorcerer being made by De Palma. Or no, it's made by Willem
Friedkin.
Oh, fuck.
It's Friedkin.
Friedkin, Friedkin. Yeah.
And
I actually think that's better.
And you know what other movie reminds me of The Wages of Fear a lot? Like the whole opening is very similar. Is The Treasure of the Sierra Madre? Like the whole way.
I like that movie a lot. Yeah.
The whole way that it opens is almost exactly like The Wages of Fear. I remember I watched them back to back, and I was like, man, the first act of these movies is almost the same.
It's incredibly similar. It's like it's all about like it's like this whole thing about like greed. Like that's the major theme in it. And then there's also this fucking movie with Bill Paxton, made by Sam Raimi. Actually,
what's that called?
Bill Paxton. Oh fuck, I forget what it's called. I have the shittiest memory. Hold on. But it is it's very similar. Like the whole thing about like you have a bunch of characters and they start fighting over like a treasure of some sort, like a bag of money or treasure, or like trying to survive and like doing everything to like somehow to make some money. Like I like to call them bag of money movies.
It's a Simple Plan.
A Simple Plan. That's a really good movie. I really like that movie.
Yeah, and if you want to have like a good whatchamacallit, if you want to have like a good like comedic approach to it, it's a mad world.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that yet. It's a really fun movie. I really like that movie. It's over the top and ridiculous, but it's really good fun. Hey, so I actually have to finish my Mank review. I kind of started the Mank review and then we got derailed.
Do it.
So with Mank, I talked about the things that kind of pissed me off with it. I think that the scene that really for most of it, I thought it was pretty okay. I thought it was people are calling it breezy and forgettable, and yeah, I would definitely agree with those terms. For most of the film, nothing is really that bad, but nothing is also really that great. But there is one scene that really pissed me off, and I was like, this is awful. Like, how did this get made? It was the scene where he comes in drunk to the dinner party, and he starts basically telling everyone the plot to Citizen Kane by comparing it to Don Quixote. And he goes on this like 10-minute long rant, or at least it felt like 10 minutes, about how he's gonna make Don Quixote starring William Hurst and blah 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 blah. And he's just basically the whole scene is Gary Oldman drunkenly ranting, telling you the plot to Citizen Kane, and it's just so on the nose. It's just like, and the way that they fit it into the story is like, this is when he like finishes the script, right? Like, this is when he kind of has that breakthrough and he finishes the script, and it's just sort of like, that's so on the nose. It's just so like telling you everything. I was not a fan of that scene at all. I completely tuned out during that scene. And
I think I tuned out so much that I just don't even remember it.
Yeah,
like barely. Like, it was just, I don't know. The movie was like, it was so. It was like,
it expects that you know what it's talking about. That's another thing.
Yeah.
About the film is like, so I
don't know who it was, like, who did they make it for?
Yeah,
like,
that's the funny thing. So I went into the movie after having made my Citizen Kane video. So thankfully, I'd done a lot of research into this time, into this era, and all the people involved. I knew who they were talking about, but I was thinking while I was watching it, I was like, if I hadn't made my video, would I be able to even understand what's going on? And I don't think I would have. And there were some things, right, like with the character of Shelley Metcalf. I was like, how have I not heard about Shelley Metcalf? It's because Shelley Metcalf never existed. It's because a lot of the side characters never existed, and they're completely fictional. So Mank shouldn't be seen as any kind of historical movie. It should be seen as like a historical fiction period piece, more so than anything else. And it's really not that much about Citizen Kane. The Citizen Kane stuff is really just the framing device for a story about how Gary Oldman is a alcoholic gambling writer, and he gets pissed off that Upton Sinclair doesn't win the governor election. That's pretty much the story of it. Like, not really a whole lot happens, especially in regards to his character, right? Mank's character is just not very interesting. Mank's character is the critical drinker. The alcoholic critic. I'll tell you this, and I'll speak my mind, and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, no, Mank's character is, he doesn't really, there's not that much development or anything like that. In fact, I would say that there's no development for his character. Not that you really have to have it. I was expecting,
like, a lot more, like, because, like, Fincher took, like I don't know, like, 4 or 5 years off of making films. Like, I was expecting so much more.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's a legit, like, good filmmaker. Like, I just don't understand, like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's a weird. It didn't even feel like a Fincher movie whatsoever to me.
You were saying in our chat, in our Discord the other day, that it felt like anybody could have directed this movie.
Yeah. And
I think that's true. Like, I had the same feeling. Like, when you watch a Fincher movie, even if it's maybe not his best, like Gone Girl or something like that. Which,
Benjamin Button.
Yeah, I really did not like Benjamin Button. But even when you're watching one of his movies that aren't that great, you can still feel that it's a Fincher movie. You know, it still has that kind of like, I don't know.
Even his the television shows.
Yeah, Mindhunter feels way more like a Fincher film than Mank does. Yeah.
Or even like what's that Kevin Spacey show? What the fuck it's called?
Oh yeah, House of Cards.
It feels Fincher, you know. But like this was like, I don't know. Maybe it's not modern enough. I guess it was just weird.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, and it is a sort of like self-relating, like take on Hollywood where Normally I'm not too keen on these like Hollywood movies about Hollywood. I don't, we were talking about this earlier. I don't mind movies about making movies, but it's like this whole like Hollywood films about Hollywood culture, that when it's like this reverence for Hollywood culture and it's not like the other way around. Like Robert Altman's The Player is definitely not made in reverence of Hollywood culture. In fact, it's kind of the opposite,
I don't know if this was totally made in reverence of Hollywood culture, but it seemed like it was like just like a nerd like making a movie. And like you talked about earlier, like someone compared it to Ready Player One, but for like 1930s film nerds, and like that makes so much sense to me.
So Rowan Abbott says, I feel like Fincher didn't want to change anything in the script because his dad made it. I might be way off. You are. They actually changed quite a bit in the script because the original script was based almost solely on that 1971 Pauline Kael article that was debunked, and the original script was super anti Orson Welles. Like his dad really had something against Orson Welles, and they had to tone it down. I feel like though how they toned it down was just basically reducing Orson Welles' part in the film.
Pauline Kael gave a bad review to Taxi Driver.
I want to say this, and I said this in my comments the other day, is that Pauline Kael was the movie Bob of the 70s.
Oh, shots fired.
Which is pretty true.
Fired. Holy shit. Oh, damn, dude. Fuck. All right. I'm gonna go through a list of movies, and I want to see what you have to say about them. All right, Kino.
All
right. The Killer, John Woo.
John Woo. I haven't seen that.
Okay. All right. Let me keep going.
Okay.
Brazil.
Oh, I love Brazil. Actually, wait. So my Discord, we have our own Brazil copy pasta. So I'm gonna find the Brazil copy pasta. Now, for some people, some of you might know, I recorded this Brazil copy pasta while I was in character of the Joker. And but I'll read it again right now so that people who aren't in the know will know about this copy pasta here. So let me just get ready. What the fuck did you just say? Brazil is a great movie. The symbolism is very rich in that film. I know you like to be a contrarian, but just stop embarrassing yourself. I've seen over 100 films, so I think I know way more than you. Just get a life, okay? People like me and Ralph Sepe know what it's like to be a filmmaker. Did I mention I'm making a film? It's about the struggles of gay people. It's based on my personal life. Trust me, it's gonna be not like you smooth brains would understand my art. When I'm rich in Hollywood, you're gonna regret calling me a beta. I'll be out there meeting all my favorite directors, while you all will be lying in bed at home. I'm gonna be famous. Can you all say you will be? I think not. Eyesore Evan, because this is about making fun of one of our subscribers. Eyesore Evan will be a worldwide name. No, I'm not going to get molested by Hollywood producers. Why would you think that? If anything, I'll be the one doing the molesting. Call me Weinstein 2.0. I'm ahead of the film curve. No one can compare it to my top-notch body. My mom says I'm a 10 out of 10. Your bullying isn't getting to me. I'm too thick-skinned. See you all in Hollywood.
Fucking wreck, dude.
That's one of the
fucking wreck.
that's one of the original Kino Corner copy pastas right there. But Brazil, I really love Brazil. I
like that movie a lot.
Yeah,
too, yeah.
I haven't seen the 93-minute cut, the Love Conquers All cut, when the studio just butchered it. I
haven't seen that either.
I have that cut because it's on the Criterion Collection version of the film. Yeah. Yeah, so it's on the Criterion Collection version of the film, but I've never gotten around to watching that cut of it. I honestly, I'm a little worried to watch that. I don't want to watch a shitty version of Brazil and then think less of it or something.
All right, I'm gonna keep going.
All right.
His Girl Friday, Howard Hawks.
That was the one about the newspaper men, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, so I remember.
Cary Grant is in it.
Yeah, I remember liking that, but preferring Bringing Up Baby when it comes to the Cary Grant, Katharine
Yeah.
Hepburn.
Well. Yeah, I think that I like His Girl Friday a little bit more than Bringing Up Baby. I think.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Yeah, so that's my take on it. I really liked both of those, but Bringing Up Baby is a little bit funnier. It's a little bit goofier. His Girl Friday is a little bit more like acidic in a way because it's like the newspaper men. I mean, I can understand like preferring one over the
dialogue
other.
in that movie is just like it's nonstop. That is like we were talking earlier about like movies that like they still stand up today.
Yeah.
In terms of pacing, and that movie is just like it's.
I would say too.
Razor sharp.
As far as like journalist movies holds up, yeah, that is still just an amazing film.
I fucking love that movie, dude. That's like Eastern Promises. Eastern Promises.
You know what? That's like the one David Cronenberg movie I haven't seen. It's Eastern Promises.
Oh, dude, you gotta see that, dude. Oh, fuck.
Obviously, like I've seen like all of Cronenberg's earlier stuff, some of his newer stuff, but I have not seen Eastern Promises. Someone says favorite Coen Brothers movie. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna come across as a sad boy here, but Inside Llewyn Davis is probably my favorite. It's probably my most watched.
That's a good one.
My most watched Coen Brothers, but right under that would be No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Like they're almost tied for me. But as far as like a lot of Coen Brothers movies, I really enjoy. Like I don't think there's maybe the Hudsucker Proxy I didn't really care for too much.
I liked that movie to a certain degree. Yeah.
To a certain degree.
I thought it was like interesting.
Yeah. But it's definitely doesn't hold up to some of their other things. I just rewatched The Big Lebowski the other night, and that's still hilarious. Blood Simple is still great. Yeah.
That's their first movie.
That's their first movie, yeah, which actually Sam Raimi worked on. That's why there's like a couple like Raimi shots in there. You know, where like in the like so when the camera's kind of going through the grass, Raimi was on the set. It was like just put the camera on like a plank of wood and just like run it through the grass. They did the Evil Dead style shot.
All like ultra low budget movies, right?
Yeah. So how Sam Raimi basically like got funding for the original Evil Dead is that he made like a trailer or short film version of it on Super 8 film, and he showed it to dentists. And so the first Evil Dead was like funded by dentists. Yeah, and the Coen brothers did a similar thing with Blood Simple, where they made like a trailer on like 16 millimeter film, and they were showing the commercial to basically like rich people in Minneapolis. I think it was in like Minneapolis. And
I think that's how also like the Coen brothers they funded Blood Simple by just like going to
no, that's what I'm saying is that they made like a 16 millimeter like trailer for Blood Simple. And if you get the Criterion edition of Blood Simple, they have the director of photography on that was the guy who ended up becoming the director of Men in Black. What's his name? Is it famous?
Oh.
He also made the Series of Unfortunate Events show. Let's see. Men in Black. But he was a
I actually watched Men in Black recently, and I thought it was okay. It was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
It's fun. I mean, I'll put it on. Oh, Barry Sonnenfeld.
Oh yeah.
So Barry Sonnenfeld, he was the
And F. Gary, dude.
Yeah.
Black director F. Gary.
Yeah, one of my friends knew him. It says that he's like a super kinophile.
Oh, really?
Like super into just like art house films. Yeah, you wouldn't really guess
never
it from his movies.
Actually, The Negotiator is actually a good movie.
Yeah,
I like that movie.
Let me see. I think you're. I wanted like
Friday is a good movie. Negotiator is a good movie, and Be Cool is like that's an Elmer Leonard adaptation.
So
same dude who wrote Jackie Brown.
So Anne Frankenberry says Raimi is in Miller's Crossing. He has a great death scene. I didn't catch that.
Does he?
Yeah, I didn't catch that it was Raimi. I liked Miller's Crossing.
I do like that movie a lot.
I also really like Barton Fink. That
Barton
was
Fink.
really good.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite
Yeah.
Coen Brother movies.
I mean, like the thing about a Coen Brothers movie is like, if I'm like scrolling TV or something like that, and I see it's a Coen Brothers film, I'll usually pop it on because you really like they haven't really made a necessarily like bad movie. Like even their like lesser films are still fairly enjoyable. And
The Lady Killer.
The Lady Killers.
I remember getting that shit on from Blockbuster before I even knew who the fuck the Coen Brothers were.
I still think that The Lady Killers, like, it's not that great of a film, but it still is kind of funny. Like, it still is like fun, you know, and like kind of, but it's definitely not to the pedigree of their other movies.
They're good though. In my opinion. They're really good. All right, dude. Lane, 1995.
You know what? I've seen a couple scenes from it, but I've never watched it all the way through.
You gotta watch that movie.
Yeah, I know you're putting me on the hot seat. I've seen like thousands. Like the thing is, okay, so this is the thing about like watching movies, right? Is like the more movies you watch, I always say this: the more movies I watch, the more I feel like I haven't seen. You know, it's just sort of like I get into these like with the Coen Brothers, right? For years, I had seen like a few of their movies. And then it was like over the course of a week, I was like, I'm going to watch every single Coen Brothers film. And I did. I watched every, so I get into like these like super fascinations, and this is just how I operate, right? I get into these super fascinations with people, and then with directors or with styles or with like periods or something like that. And I just go, I'm going to watch like every film. I'm going to watch every film by this person or in this time period or something like that. I end up doing that, but film watching. But I also just don't like watching a film because I go into saying like I need to see this. Like, you know, like I'd rather be like feel like I'm in the mood for the movie and watch it than feel like I'm trying to check off a box, which I guess also makes my blind spots just sort of like exist longer. But at the same time, I think that really when I watch a movie, I want to enjoy the film and not feel like I'm watching, you know, doing a chore. And I go through periods too where it's just sort of like I don't really feel like watching any new movies. I mean, you probably go through this too. It's like for a few months, I'm just like, I don't really feel like watching any new movies. And also the ironic thing is that being a film YouTuber has lessened my ability to watch new movies. I'm spending way more time editing or writing or something like that, and way more time focusing on like a singular film or maybe just a couple films or a singular director or something like that. And I get to know a lot more about those specific movies or that specific person, but I can't necessarily what's this person doing? But the thing is that it's not like I can just marathon movies like I used to. Like I used to be able to like take a weekend and just watch a ton of films that I was like, all right, these are films I haven't seen, I really want to see. And I can't really do that anymore. Yeah.
There was definitely a time where I would watch like 5 movies a day. And I don't really, unless I have like friends over who are like, other kinophiles, and like they actually just want to watch like a bunch of movies in a row. Yeah. I don't know. The last time I watched like 2 movies in a row by myself it's been a while, to be honest. It's been a while.
This weekend I have been watching a lot of newer like movies I haven't seen. Obviously, I watched Mank. I watched The Lady from Shanghai. I'm gonna rewatch Magnificent Ambersons this afternoon, and I'm gonna watch that Japanese movie that you sent me.
I do that.
Yeah,
do that, dude.
So I'm definitely gonna be. You know, I'm definitely.
Have you seen Southland Tales?
No, I haven't.
It's with Wayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah,
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I know.
Sean William Scott. and Justin Timberlake. It's like it's this Richard Kelly movie, the guy who made Donnie Darko.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was Richard Kelly. Because that's how I know about Southland Tales. I was gonna make a video this Halloween. I think I talked to you about it, where I was like talking about all the movies that I watch in Halloween. But I literally made the video, and I just wasn't happy with the quality of it, so I ended up not releasing it. And part of it was about Donnie Darko, and I was looking into what Richard Kelly had done, because I had a joke in there. I was like, yeah, Richard Kelly's like only memorable movie. I was like, oh, he made Southland Tales. I've heard of it. People talk about it getting a sequel or a reboot or something like that recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's tragically bad. It's really funny though, to watch it. All right, here's another question for you.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood movies. Play Misty for me was like, I think that was his first movie.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen Play Misty for me. As far as Clint Eastwood movies goes, I watch mostly I've seen his westerns. High Plains Drifter, Outlaw Josie Wales, Pale Rider.
High Plains Drifter, dude.
Yeah.
That starts with a fucking rape scene. Like, is like so intense. Holy shit.
That movie is. See, John Wayne hated High Plains Drifter because he was like, this isn't what the Western is about, but I feel like it, in a sense, to be kind of cringe for a moment, High Plains Drifter was almost like the Watchmen of Westerns. It was like this, it was like this deconstruction of it, where he literally is like this mythical figure, like this mythical ghost demon sort of thing, that's like enacting revenge and making this town hell and everything like that. And even though he plays the role of like that kind of badass like gun shooter guy, he is like a literal demon. You know, like,
well, yeah, he is so chaotic neutral.
Yeah,
it's insane. Yeah, like he does not care, and like even when he helps them, it's like reluctantly, and it's just
but it has one of the best lines where he makes like the little man, the mayor, just like out of spite for everyone, and then he goes, "What did you say your name was again?" He takes he goes, "I didn't." It's just like, I mean, that's probably one of my favorite lines in movies ever. Yeah. Unforgiven was also great. I love the line in Unforgiven where he was like, "You just shot an unarmed man," and he goes, "Well, he shouldn't have decorated his bar with my friend." It's just so like, it's such a brutal film. Gene Hackman is such a good bad guy in there, and it's like one of the few westerns too that really deals with the gravity of what it is to kill somebody. Because a lot of westerns, like, that was the thing with a lot of westerns, is that people just killed each other sort of willy-nilly. And now sometimes, you know, I mean, they were great films, you know, sometimes, like, yeah, they were great films, but they were operating in this more like mythic space, and Unforgiven has sort of taken this but placing it more in the real world. And
there's that character in that movie, Unforgiven. He's nearsighted, and he's so gung ho about killing people.
Yeah.
And like, as soon as he has to kill someone, he just chickens out. And,
and he kills the guy. He kills the guy by shooting him in the outhouse. It's like this really sort of disgusting murder. Yeah. And it's just like the guy's taking a shit. And he shoots him in the stomach. It's just like, it's not clean. It's not glorified at all. So Kim Jong-un says, "Ever seen The Act of Killing?" I have a story about that. So I was at the Berlinale Film Festival, and I didn't have tickets to see anything. And I was just sort of looking for a movie to pop in on, and I popped in on the world premiere of The Act of Killing. And so the director and everybody was there, and I had no idea what the film was about. there were extra tickets because it was a documentary, and typically at like festivals and stuff, documentaries are a lot easier to get into because there's not as much hype behind them. So they're not exactly like selling out tickets or anything like that. So I popped in. Me and my friends, we went in to see it, and we're like, yeah, The Act of Killing, it's kind of a catchy name. Should be pretty good. We'll see. We don't know anything about it. And I was floored. I was blown away. It probably is my favorite documentary. That, I would say, like, top 10 movies.
American movie, I think, is my favorite doc. But, like, yeah, Act of Killing is really fucking good.
Act of Killing.
Oh, and Crumb. Crumb is like another.
Oh, Crumb is great. Crumb is a great documentary. Yeah. And so is... Okay, so actually my favorite documentary...
Earl Morris Morris documentary.
I would say that, like... Okay, so I would say that, like, the documentary that I probably have seen the most number of times is Burden of Dreams. About Werner Herzog making Fitz crawl.
Oh, yes, yeah, okay, yeah. That's a good one.
That's in my top 5. The Act of Killing. But The Act of Killing is one of those ones that it's just like, it affects you so much, it's hard to watch it again. The Devil and Daniel Johnston. Oh, that was a really good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That was a really good one. I love Daniel Johnston. I was honestly, like, that celebrity death was major. Like, a lot of times when it's like celebrities die, I'm just sort of like, most of the time they're old, or it's just sort of like you saw it coming or something like that. But Daniel Johnston dying, I was like, man, that was awful.
Have you ever seen Capturing the Freedmans?
No.
That is fucked up.
Is that about the people who were accused of, like, being spies?
Pedophilia.
No. Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen that.
It's fucked up. It's really fucked up.
Well, anything to do with that subject is usually pretty fucked up.
How about Dear Zachary?
No, I've been told everyone see, the thing is that, so my two biggest blind spots, I would say, are documentaries and TV shows. Queen of Versailles doc is the better version of Tiger King. My friend knows the Queen of Versailles people. Like, he's friends with them. And Tiger King is locked up literally down the road from where I am.
You got very
like,
dude, don't do it. Don't do it.
Honestly, if I take my car right now and I drive 15 minutes down this road that I'm on, I will be at the prison where Tiger King is.
No, I mean, like, you got, like, someone.
I'm going to
donated to you.
I'm going to rope guys. I'm gonna do it. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't. If you mean Watch Rope by Alfred Hitchcock, that's a fine movie.
That's a pretty good movie.
It's fine. It's definitely not his best, but it's interesting. It did interesting things for the time, and
that was like, they tried to say that it was like a one-shot movie.
Yeah,
but it's not really a one-shot movie.
No,
there's a lot of, like, visual trickery in there to make it look like it.
There's visual trickery, and there are hard cuts. There are a couple hard cuts in the film.
Yeah. So very obviously. Yeah.
So, but I don't know what that super chat means. I'm going to rope, guys. I'm gonna do it.
I've watched every. By the way, I've watched every single fucking Alfred Hitchcock movie. I've seen every single one.
I haven't. I've seen maybe about half. I've seen all of his, like, later stuff. I started watching the 39 Steps and I didn't finish it.
That's very early. Hitchcock, but stuff starts to get better more so in, like, the late 40s.
Yeah.
To late 60s, I guess.
Yeah, I would say.
And even I even watched like the television television show Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, I watched that show as a kid. Yeah.
And there's one episode in particular that's always stuck with me where this woman, she kills her husband, and she does it with lamb chop, like not a lamb chop, like she does it with like a lamb, like a leg of a lamb or something, and it's frozen. So then she cooks it, and by the time the police arrive, she's cooked it and she serves it to them.
That's
so
Roald Dahl. short story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They use that. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a real dull short story. I
Yeah.
read that. It was in his book. There was like a collection of short like mystery stories for adults. And I remember that
Yeah.
that one really stuck with me. Yeah. And
It's
that was
really
in
good.
Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Yeah. Hemorrhoids us as it means suicide. Don't commit suicide. Like I don't even think I have to even tell you that, but please don't.
Also, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
What the hell? Come on.
Yeah.
Watch Kino. Don't commit suicide. Watch Kino.
Look.
Watch Yoga Posers by Kevin Smith.
Oh no, gosh, don't do that. That movie was so
dude.
bad. That movie was so bad. Oh my god.
Oh, dude. You know, in like 2016, I started a YouTube channel, and I wanted to like do like movie reviews, and that was one of the movies
God.
that I tried to review. I also did like James Franco movies.
Yeah.
Because James Franco has a bunch of movies that he's directed.
Oh yeah, a ton of them. He had interior
And
leather
I've seen all of. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. And he also did a whole bunch of like Faulkner
As I Lay
novel.
Dying.
Adaptations.
He did
and
the
they're-
one Cormac McCarthy adaptation.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
did he actually end up doing that?
Yeah,
did he?
He made it. Let me look up which one it was. It was
Is
like
that Child of God, or is
it was Child of God. Yeah.
Okay, because I thought he did like Blood Meridian, which was something he was saying like he wanted to do,
Blood Meridian,
which would be terrible.
Blood Meridian has been in development hell for basically ever since it was published. Because I mean, if you read the book, it's so dense. There's so much that happens. It's something that
I read the book. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like I don't know how you can fit that into one movie. I don't think James
Franco is capable of doing
that.
that.
Is capable of doing that. Yeah, I don't think he is. I mean, it's just like it's such a dense, such a sprawling story, where it's like you could take the first like 50 pages of it, just like basically until they march down into Mexico that first time, and they get basically killed and raped by all the Indians. That like leading up to that could be a whole feature film. Like that is. You know what I mean?
Dude,
It's just,
how do you show the scene from Blood Meridian where there's a scene where like babies like the bodies of babies are literally being smashed against a wall.
Yeah.
But no, James Franco, ultimate dilettante. He actually commissioned like artwork, and he would just like scribble over it, and then like put it up, and this is my art show, and then he'd copy some famous photographers old work and be like, this is my photography. He's like he's a complete dilettante. He's such a fucking poser. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people caught on, like the whole like James Franco movie. That I think the only basically James Franco directed movie that was a success but still isn't a good movie was The Disaster Artist.
The Disaster Artist, yeah.
Like that was a success. I remember watching it, right? I remember liking it the first time, and then I said to myself, I think it was just because I was kind of caught up in like this like, oh, like Tommy was so funny kind of thing. Now, for a long time, I have not been a fan of Tommy Wiseau because he's a self-aware like lolcow, which is like just not funny at all. It's not entertaining. But at the time, it was a bit more fresh. So I watched it again, and I was like, this movie actually sucks. Like, the pacing in this film is terrible. The casting is all off.
He's not even doing like a good Tommy Wiseau impression.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
He's not.
But
he's
you
not.
don't think that I'm still interested about that, like Tommy Wiseau as a character is like the mystery behind where the fuck he came from.
Yeah, and it doesn't really dive that much into it because it's really from the perspective of Greg Sestero, who's kind of a boring guy. Like that's also the thing. It's like Greg Sestero is kind of a boring Hollywood guy.
He's just like literally just like he's been a Chad his whole life, and like that's his whole thing. But like the thing is too, where the fuck did Tommy Wiseau come from?
Yeah, he's from Poland.
That's not available. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what people have said.
Yeah.
But there's no concrete. There's someone who, like, on Reddit who's connected his name and been like, oh, why so? Actually, it sounds sort of like a Polish name.
Yeah.
Therefore, maybe he's Polish. So there's only speculation.
I think it's also his accent.
And
But-
that too, yeah.
Yeah, and he claimed for a while that he was Cajun and from Louisiana, but anyone who's ever been to Louisiana knows nobody there speaks like Wiseau. Like, nobody speaks
so-
like him.
It's so hilarious that he says he's from Louisiana. I'm from New Orleans. That's
Like,
like the
no.
funniest fucking shit ever.
I'm like, man, I basically grew up, like, right outside of New Orleans, and I have never met anybody that spoke like Tommy Wiseau. Kim Jong-un says it's like Samurai Cop 2. As soon as someone becomes self-aware, it ruins everything. Yeah, and that's why I think that's why I think Neil Breen still has that charm to him, because I don't think he'll ever be self-aware.
Yeah.
Like he
Cool Cat too.
Cool Cat, yeah. Which I tried to get Cool Cat on the Kino Corner. I spoke to Derek Savage over email a couple weeks ago. I was speaking to him to try to get him on, and he basically just kept on. He kept on just sort of like going like. Now I was playing a character, right? I was like really kind of schmoozing him and stuff like that to, because I was like, if he thinks that I'm going to, if he thinks I'm going to basically just rail him on the channel, then was to get him onto the channel and to get him into an interview to talk about his perspective of film, which I think would be very interesting. And I wouldn't really push him in a lot of ways because because from what I've heard from people who do know him, is he has really bizarre sort of philosophies on filmmaking, and I think that it would just be a case where I just let him do all the talking, and I wouldn't really have to do things other than maybe ask him to expand.
You can't expect to engage with someone that narcissistic.
Yeah,
you just can't. Like, you just have to let them talk, and like it just has to be like the Neil Breen experience.
Yeah, it's just sort of like I just have to schmooze up to him, and I have to make him think that I think he's the greatest, and he's going to tell me, he's going to open up. I think Neil Breen would be the similar thing, because I mean, if you look at like these kinds of directors, when you're looking at the guy that made Birdemic, you're looking at Neil Breen, you're looking at Tom Wiseau, you're looking at Derek Savage. A lot of times these movies are like you wonder, why do they even release these movies? Why do they make these kinds of movies? It's because it's fulfilling like this power fantasy, this like narcissistic sort of complex in them, where they where they like they make themselves out to be the good guys, they make themselves out to be the heroes, and it's all this like self-insertion fan fiction type of stuff, yeah,
pretty much.
And it's like
they're fulfilling the fantasies of their like childhood, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what they're doing.
When to make something good, it's like, I don't know, like what I look for when I write is not, I don't self-insert myself into my scripts, but I'm more like trying to explore something, like usually trying to explore darker parts of myself as well, or ideas that I have. I'm not really trying to get anything out of writing something other than maybe trying to make something as good as it can be. And that's another thing that I notice with like filmmakers and just artists in general, right? Is that an artist who is usually like really, really proud of their work is usually not good. Like if you have somebody who loves to brag about their films or stuff like that, usually their films suck.
Usually like someone who's actually an artist will constantly trying to be like trying to they make something better.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, because no matter what you make, there's going to be issues with it. Like we're only human. It's not like we're going to be able to make something perfect. Like even the best films are not perfect. There are issues. Maybe as a viewer, as an audience member, we can't see them, but I can tell you that the director sees all of them. Even if to the audience it seems like it's perfect, the
You think about
director's
it, yep.
saying, "Oh my god, I could have done this so much better. Why did I do?"
You
this?
think about it, they have to watch it like a million times. Like they, like, you know, anytime it's shown and they're invited to watch it, like they just have to watch it a million times.
Yeah. Well, you know, Orson Welles didn't watch any of his movies after he finished them. He's like, I watched it all the time when editing it, and it was in that Dick Cavett interview that I had in my channel. He said, have you seen when was the last time you saw Citizen Kane? He said, the last time I saw Citizen Kane was when I watched the opening credits at the premiere of it in 1941. And he says, and then I left the theater. Like
Dude,
yeah.
I'm laughing about that for two reasons, because also Dick Cavett.
Oh yeah.
Dick Cavett is like the most awkward dude of all time. Yeah. There's literally a clip where he goes, like, he talks to Eddie Murphy and he's like, how do you feel about me saying the word like the N word, like, and he says it, like, he straight up says it. And fucking Eddie Murphy, his reaction, a 25-year-old Eddie Murphy is just like, wow, you just went there. Wow, okay. You really just went there. It's like, it's unbelievable, that clip.
So TJ Nelson, Kino, if you could write for any director, who would it be? There's this one director named Isaac Mahaffey that I would write for. No, but if I'm gonna be honest, gosh, if I could write for any, I would say like working director, right? Like they have to be like making movies right now. It would not be Robert Eggers, because I don't think I'd be down to like do all the sort of, you know, like spend all that time like trying to make it sound exactly like a certain dialect from, you know, the 1700s or something like that.
Yeah, that guy's in his own thing.
Yeah, like I'm like, let him do all that. Like I love his films, but I would not write for him. Let me think. Let me think about that. Actually, I honestly don't know, just because a lot of times, like, if I like,
I would write for Koreans.
I would just say this, like, if I like a particular director or something, I would feel like if I was writing for them that I was like taking away that part of them that made me like them, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sort of like I'd be taking away, like, I'd rather have them write their own stuff if that's what they normally do. So I wouldn't say Paul Thomas Anderson, even though, I mean, I'd be honored to like work with Paul Thomas Anderson, but like Paul Thomas Anderson just has this way of making his things that, you know, I don't know.
Can I red pill your whole audience?
Yeah, sure.
Here. Listen, I would do it for either a Spanish director or a Korean director, because they are the only people who are making actual Kino right now. That's it, dude. That's all that's happening right now. Otherwise, you have fucking Marvel, Disney bullshit, and then you have fucking Parasite, and then you have
you got The Lighthouse.
in your too. All right, like, so that's all you got. That's all you have to work with.
I just don't know if I would write for anybody other than myself, if I'm going to be honest. Unless it was like
if the question is like, who would you write for? Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would write for myself as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. Kim Jong-un, Kino, would you write for Marvel movies with Joss Whedon? If they paid me a bunch of money,
kill yourself.
If they paid me a bunch of money, and I was like, the thing about writing a Marvel film, right, is like, you know how long it's going to be. You know that it's going to be a 120-page script. You know it's going to be a 120-page script. You know at what point, on what page, something is, you know, a specific thing is going to happen. It's like the most sort of like Freytag's pyramid like style of storytelling. You know that it's like in the second act or at the beginning of the third act, you have to have it where it's like there's the fall, you know, where it's building up and they're winning, and then they have to have a failure at the beginning of the third act, and they got to pull everything together for that climax, and then have a very maybe like 5-minute denouement at the end, you know, after the climax and everything like that. Like, you know, You know
CGI clusterfuck.
like, but from a storytelling, from a screenwriting perspective, you know exactly where each beat has to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's literal, just like, it's like coloring. It's like if you had those like coloring books like as a kid where it had like the numbers and you color by numbers, paint by numbers, you know?
Yeah.
It's literally just that. The outline is there. You just have to kind of fill everything in. But the thing is that you know what to fill it in with. It's not a matter of like, oh, I have no idea what I got to put here. It's like you're taking an already established character, an already established IP with an already established backstory and character traits and everything like that. So you know that there's not much to think about in terms of like where you're going to go with something. You're taking a couple different like each of those movies, they take a couple different comic books. They sort of like compile different things from, you know, some different comics that they like or something like that. And they fit it in, and they have to make sure that it fits into the MCU. They have to make sure that it fits into everything as a whole. And it is really just, at the end of the day, it's just painting by numbers, you know? It's just that, I mean, that is what it is. India makes the best Kino, totally not serious. Satyaji, how do you say it? Sachi Ray, Charulata, Apu Trilogy.
That's a long time ago, but like,
Yeah,
well, I mean, like, there's
great.
like that movie, The Three Idiots or whatever. That's pretty good. And then
There
was another sick ass gangster epic from India that came out like, I don't know, like 2008 or something. That was really good. But all right, Kino, I can ask you three movies before I go. All right.
Okay.
I can hit you with three movies.
Wait,
The Hustler.
Wait 1 second, because I have to go use the bathroom. If you want to like talk to the audience for like the next minute.
All right,
and
cool.
then I'll come back.
All right, sick. All right. Listen, everybody, ask me about Kino. Ask me about like Kino movies, not like Kino, the Kino corner, but ask me about Kino movies. Let's talk about movies. I love movies, man. I love movies. Who's this nerd? OKI's Weird Stories. Made a video about gay frogs. Check it out. I talked to the gay frog scientist. The guy that Alex Jones referenced when he was talking about gay frogs. What age did you get? Did you really get into film? When I was a kid. I always was like attracted to film. What is the worst line in a Kino? Okay. Oh God! Oh no! Oh God! What is that shit that fucking in that one movie?
Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah, Ryan O'Neal.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh man! Oh, God!
Oh God! Yeah.
All right, so I have not seen The Hustler.
You haven't seen The Hustler. All right.
I don't think I have.
All right, let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
Being There.
Oh.
Hal Ashbury.
Yes, love that film to death. The opening with that like funky version of the 2001: A Space Odyssey music. It's when he's walking out and the gang comes up to him and he brings out the remote control and tries changing the channel. That movie is just, I love it.
That movie's amazing.
Yeah, I love that. He's just like, I love to that weird sex scene between him and the woman, and he's just like, I like to watch. He's just talking about TV, but she thinks that she needs to put on like a show for him. She starts. Like,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, man.
Yeah, that was
movie's
great.
so.
That was Shirley
that
MacLaine.
movie, man.
There's Shirley MacLaine. That was the lady.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to that movie too, though. That's just like so.
Hal Ashbury
it
was
almost
great.
feels like fucking like spiritual. Yeah, Hal Ashbury was so fucking good.
Yeah. Because
Same guy he also directed Harold and Maude.
The Last Detail, which was great. Shampoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shampoo's a good movie. I like Shampoo.
So what's the third one?
Oh, God, now I want to ask you about more. Fuck me. All right, Rio Bravo. Have you seen that?
Oh yes, I saw Rio Bravo.
Howard Hawks.
So the Rio Bravo, I liked it. apart from the singing bits, like when they do like the singing cowboy stuff. Like
I like that. I like that one track in it. It's pretty good. But all right, go on.
But the ending shootout was really good. Like that's a really good Western like ending. The whole like third act of that is really good. It's John Wayne. Like I grew up watching all the John Wayne movies. You know, so it's for me. It's like putting on a John Wayne movie is like movie Kino comfort food. You know, it's just sort of like I pop on The Searchers and you know, I get my dose of post Civil War racism. but you know, or like Red River, Rio Bravo, a lot of those John Wayne films, Stagecoach. I just watched them all the time growing up. So, you know, I have a soft spot. I have a soft spot for all of those, and even the non-John Wayne, you know, just John Ford films in general. My Darling Clementine, which I still think is.
I haven't seen that.
I still think it's the best version of the OK Corral movie. They did a movie in the 50s. It was like Gunfight at the OK Corral, which was a remake of My Darling Clementine. Obviously Tombstone, which is a good remake. But Tombstone is a remake of My Darling Clementine. But, I mean, at the same time, it's all about the same historical story of the gunfight at the OK Corral. Tombstone is good, but the 1950 version wasn't. But My Darling Clementine has starred Henry Fonda as Wyatt Earp.
I've only seen Tombstone, the one with the 1990s version.
Yeah, Val Kilmer. I mean, it's a good one.
I like that movie. Yeah, I do. All right, last movie.
Mm-hmm.
Last movie I'm gonna ask you, and then I gotta fucking leave. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
I saw that a decade ago. I don't remember it that well. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I have to rewatch it. I watched it in one of my like binges in college when I binged like 10 movies at once.
What's that fucking Korean movie that came out like I think it was like 2016 or something? Something that had masters. Fuck.
Was it Burning? You think it Burning?
No.
I like Burning a lot.
No. Hold on. Oh well, fuck it. It's like the same. I think it's the same director. No, it's not. It's not Bong Joon-ho, but it's the same director who made Old Boy.
Was that?
Yeah.
It was it called? I can see the poster for it, but was it in English?
The Handmaiden.
The Handmaiden.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. Is that any good?
Dude, watch that.
Because
it's amazing.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Is that his English language film?
No.
Okay.
No. He did make English.
Yeah, what was his English language film called?
I totally forgot what it's called, but it's with that. I think it's with Saoirse Ronan or something.
Yeah, Saoirse Ronan. Yeah. Yeah, it was because the poster for that. I can see that in my head, but I remember like people were just like, "Don't watch it." Stoker.
It was okay. Yeah, Stoker. It was okay. It was all right.
Yeah.
Actually, also, Joint Security Area is another one. This is one of his earliest movies. It's really fucking good.
Oh no, it was with Mia Wasikowska.
Oh yeah. Mia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Saoirse Ronan.
She was the Alice in Wonderland girl. But she was also in Only Lovers Left Alive, which I really liked, the Jarmusch vampire film.
I didn't like that.
You didn't?
No.
I had a fun time with it. It was I mean, I can see why you wouldn't like it, but I had a fun time with it.
It was cool. I like the atmosphere of it, but like it was just like there wasn't much to it. I felt like narratively.
Oh yeah, there wasn't a lot to
You know what's a really fucking sick ass, like cool atmospheric vampire movie that I really love still? It's like Let the Right One In.
Oh yeah, Let the Right One In is great. I haven't seen the remake, Let Me In. I'm not really interested in it.
Yeah, don't watch the remakes.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Actually, I'd say still to my favorite vampire movie though, as far as like watchability factor, like just a mix of like art and just entertainment, is probably Near Dark, the Catherine Bigelow.
Near Dark is cool, man.
Yeah.
Like Near Dark, I like those early Catherine Bigelow movies. That
Yeah.
and Point Break, dude. Like I like Point Break a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think that like there's something so fucking cool about like the soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
that,
and,
like,
dude, and Bill Paxton
and, like,
in Near Dark is just like insane.
I love Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
I was really sad when he died, dude.
Yeah,
I was really sad when
He
Bill
was-
Paxton died, man.
He was such a charismatic actor. Like he could easily steal whatever scene he was in. The saloon scene in Near Dark, you know, and they just like fucking kill everybody. And Bill Paxton is like dancing around. He's so fun to watch. He's so menacing, but he's also just so captivating. He was great in just about everything he was in.
Dude, like there's like two Bill Paxton movies in particular, Frailty,
Oh yeah, Frailty,
and then there's that
with Matthew McConaughey.
that fucking that there's the Billy Bob Thornton directed movie, One False Move,
I haven't
which
seen
is
One
so
False
fun.
Move. I've seen Frailty. But I haven't seen One False Move.
Dude, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. And like,
Okay.
I don't know. There's something about those kind of movies, like the like very mid-budget '90s
Yeah.
movies, like especially
Yeah.
like that horror, like sci-fi, like fantasy kind of thing. Like there's
Yeah.
also that fucking Kevin Bacon movie. Oh shit, what's that Kevin Bacon movie?
I'm not sure. There's a lot of Kevin Bacon movies.
Hold on, dude.
I'm
I
just
gotta
gonna look
look.
at chat right now. Near
Okay,
Dark.
hold on. Steer of Echoes, dude. Steer of Echoes. I'm gonna type that shit in the chat, dude. Steer of Echoes. Watch that shit. Watch Frailty. Watch One False Move.
One False Move. Yeah, I've seen Frailty a couple times.
That is a cool ass movie. That is such a trippy ass movie, dude. Fuck. There was another thing that I was just thought about too. Real quick there.
Dude, okay, I have to like literally like okay every single thing that you type in chat. It for some reason YouTube thinks that you're spam or I don't know why, because you're verified. Like shouldn't like
Yeah,
verified
that is very strange.
shouldn't verified channels
I
just
don't-
like be able to post whatever they want?
Well, that's YouTube for you. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I have no fucking idea, dude. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with that, man.
Yeah.
Also, Simple Plan, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
Bill
Simple
Paxton,
Plan.
Billy Bob Thornton. That's another one that Billy Bob Thornton wrote. Sam Raimi
Yeah.
directed, which is really fucking good.
Billy Bob Thornton is great. He's got such a good screen presence too.
He's good.
I mean,
he's really.
I mean, Bad Santa's hilarious. Funny thing is,
Yeah.
Bad Santa's made by Terry Zwigoff, who made Crumb and Ghost World. That's like,
I could. Yeah, I remember. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that.
yeah, and I remember like when I figured it out that when I found out that it was like, wait, the guy who made Ghost World and Crumb made Bad Santa. I'm like, I like this guy. He doesn't make that much. Like he's like one of those like once every 10 years kind of director. But Simple Plan is
That's a
great.
mark.
Yeah.
Mark of a good director in a lot of ways, to be honest. Yo, Herzog made a lot of great movies, but watch Strozek. People, Strozek is probably the best
Strozek.
Herzog movie.
I gotta go. But what I have learned from this is that Marvel movies are the best. Okay. All right, Kim Jong-un, go back to starving your your people.
Yeah. Show them Marvel movies, dude. That will make them fucking like degenerate into raisins.
Yeah.
It's fucking just it's better than execution. Just show them Marvel movies, dude.
Or small commentary channel videos.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much difference.
Oh, someone.
There-
Yeah,
there-
people have been asking me about Perfect Blue, and I haven't responded. I saw Perfect Blue in the cinema. I really like Perfect Blue. It's super fun.
Satoshi Kon.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good film. Yeah, I walked into it because a couple of years ago at one of my local cinemas, they were showing all these like anime movies. Like each different night, it was like a different anime film. And my friends were like, "Oh, we got to see Perfect Blue on the big screen." I had no idea what it was, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so I really like Perfect Blue. That's a fun one. I was thinking about doing an anime video this month, but supposedly anime companies are pretty. You get copyright claimed.
You know what you gotta do if you're gonna do an anime video? Do either like Ping Pong or do like Tokyo Godfathers. Those are like the two most Kino anime
Yeah, see, I'm not
like shit out there.
the
I love anime, so like, well, not
Yeah.
really. I don't really love it. I like manga a lot more, but I've seen like every like, you know,
See, the thing
worthy
is,
anime.
like anime for me, like the reason why I was sort of setting on myself like making an anime video is that I generally like a lot of the animes that I watch, and I will get into like times when I'm like, yeah, I want to watch a lot of anime films and stuff like that, or shows and whatnot. But that is I guess another blind spot for me. Like I've seen all the Studio Ghibli stuff.
Yeah,
I really like
super overrated. Super overrated.
I mean, it's like, I like a lot of the Studio Ghibli stuff, but as far as like maybe what I really like as far as the anime goes, like I really like Perfect Blue, and I really liked like the Ghost in the Shell stuff from the '90s.
Ghost in the Shell is sick, and it also has one of the sickest fucking
Yeah.
soundtracks of all
Yeah,
time.
I really like that.
That and Akira
And
have
Akira.
like such amazing soundtracks, and like just so fucking cool. Like Akira, like every fucking frame of that is extremely animated.
Yeah,
Like it's so like you don't get the same quality of animation that you get from something like Akira today. Like
Yeah.
it's just, it doesn't exist.
you know that they're remaking Akira. I think it's Taika Waititi that's directing it.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
luck. Good
Yeah,
luck, dude.
exactly.
Good luck.
It's one of those movies. Like there's, okay, so as far as remakes goes, I know, okay, if you gotta go, you gotta go. But as far as remakes goes, remake a bad movie and try to make it a lot better. Don't remake a movie that's great and it's a classic. Like, because the best thing you can do is be as good as the classic. But the thing is, you'll always be the remake. And even if you're as good as the classic, people might as well just watch the classic. You know what I mean? It's just sort of like,
Just don't remake movies at all.
well,
That's the real answer.
I mean,
Just don't fucking remake.
There
them.
there are times when it's fine to remake something. Like, okay, so The Magnificent Ambersons was a silent film, and obviously they remade it. Orson Welles remade it. It's a great movie. But I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, it was a silent film before that. You know, bring into the sound world or something like that. You know, big technological breakthroughs and everything like that. I think that there is a case where maybe a film has a really good concept but super poor execution, and it's fine to remake it in the sense of you say, I want to take that core concept, but I want to change basically everything about the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that kind of remake, I'm totally behind. Where it's like, this film could have been super great, but it sucked. But I'm going to take what it's doing. Scarface is another good remake. But, like, Scarface is almost like a remake in name only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Thing, yeah.
It's not the same, like, yeah.
Like, they do very different things in the remakes, which basically lets them stand on their own. Like The Thing, you know, Howard Hawks' The Thing is a very different movie than John Carpenter's The Thing. Very different films. I should know.
Or you watch like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like there's like 3 iterations of it.
Yeah.
I think like the 1970s version is actually the best one. Personally. Although I also like the 50s one a lot.
Yeah, I really
a lot.
I really like the Don Siegel 50s one. Fistful of Dollars. Now, Fistful of Dollars.
I think that's better than The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
You think you like Fistful of Dollars better than The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Because I would not agree with that.
Hell yeah.
I would not agree with that.
Hell yeah, dude. I think that's a way better movie. I think it's a way better movie.
I think The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is way better than A Fistful of Dollars, and I think Yojimbo is a lot better than A Fistful of Dollars.
I actually never seen Yojimbo, even though I've known about it for like the longest time. But
Really?
anyway, yeah, no. A Fistful of Dollars, I just think it's just like the pacing and everything about it. It's just like it's just so much better. Obviously, you know, the third movie in that series is like it's the best one. Like as in like it's the most iconic.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be like, oh, it's the best one based off of how iconic and how how it historically stood the test of time. And
I mean, I would say
one,
that all
the bad
three.
and
I would say that all three stood the test of time. I'd say that the only Sergio Leone movie that hasn't had that much love in recent memory is Duck You Sucker.
Never seen that.
That one just hasn't had much love recently. But that whole trilogy, I mean, like you can go to like Target or Best Buy or something, and you'll see still being sold on Blu-ray, just on regular store shelves, the Dollars trilogy or the Man Without a Name trilogy or whatever people want to call it. You'll still see it. You know, people like they're still very popular films. I would like my personal feeling about it is that they get better with each iteration. But I honestly love all three. I mean I grew up watching all three of those films all the time. There are some scenes in For a Few Dollars More that are just amazing, like what they're shooting each other's hats. I really like that scene. The whole ending sequence when Lee Van Cleef and Clint Eastwood are making their way through the town, super good. Like, to me, that's just iconic. Yeah, Once Upon a Time in the West, that's also super great. The whole...
I don't like that movie either.
You don't?
To be honest. Not really. Not that much.
Oh my God. I see.
I know. I know. I'm not crazy about that movie.
All right.
Either.
All right. I think that's your time to leave.
All right. Okay. Quickly. Have you ever seen Whatever Happened to Baby Jane?
No, I'm not.
Betty Davis. All right. Okay.
But I've seen
All About Eve?
Cat. No, I've been meaning to watch it. It's come on the Criterion channel. I've seen...
Little Foxes?
So my 50s thing is like a lot of the Tennessee Williams stuff. All About Eve. I saw something that was...
The Glass Menagerie? Like
No.
Marlon Brando? That's a Tennessee Williams.
No, I saw Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and I saw Baby Doll.
Yeah.
And I saw, of course, Streetcar Named Desire, and I saw a lot of the Elia Kazan stuff. Yeah, but I haven't seen All About Eve. I almost bought it last week at Barnes and Noble.
You should get that. You should get that, Little Foxes, and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, dude. Like those, like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane is like, that is a fun fucking movie. That is a good ass movie, dude.
Really?
Anyway,
I'll check out for it. I'll look out for it. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Oki.
Everybody. Peace out. Kino forever. Love Kino.
This is the Kino
Cinema.
crew.
Cinema is life.
Yes. All right. See you, Oki. Thanks. That's Oki's Weird Stories. Go check out his channel. Yeah, go check out his channel. And he was in the chat, so it should be easy to find his stuff. All right, so I will just talk to the chat right now. It's just the two of us, just us two, or how 10 people, I guess, just us 11, talking to each other. Let me go. I'm going to scroll up through the chat. I have not been paying that much attention to chat. I'm really sorry. Just got way too much into the conversation, and and I just felt like, I didn't want to be a dick. So speaking of that, Dick Cavett is the cringiest lefty. Yeah, he is pretty cringe. He's pretty cringe. Mank felt more like homework than entertainment. I mean, I thought it was entertaining, but at the same time, it is kind of like I don't know. I just kind of had like this feeling watching it, like, what's the point? And this whole sort of thing, like crying about Upton Sinclair not winning, to me, that just, I don't know. Okay, so I'm trying to find this one comment, this one chat that I saw earlier about lefty YouTubers. I'm gonna find this. Somebody, okay, Roy O'Connor says, would you ever do a video on MDE's World Peace? It's become a bit of a fascination for me, and knowing that you like it a lot, I'd like to hear your opinion on it. Yeah, I have some friends that were in World Peace, and And speaking of that, I will be in Tampa this upcoming weekend on December 12th. I'll be at Dick Masterson's Road Rage event. I'll be there with Rusty Cage and Eggy, and I think Negative XB might be there. I'm not sure. Maybe Frank Hassel will be there. That'd be fun. I know a lot of people are going to be there. The Gunt is going to be there. Kino Corner is the fattest YouTuber. I'll get a picture with Ethan Ralph this weekend, and I will show you that I am not. Thoughts on the more progressive lefty film reviewers? I think that can be really fun, and a lot of time while also being a little annoying. So I wanted to respond to this. I don't really watch film YouTube videos, so I can't really comment on it. I know that people who tend to be in the film criticism world tend to people who are in the film criticism world tend to go a bit further to the left. I think that really in any kind of like artistic sort of endeavor, you're going to get that. But I also think that there's something to say about critics who are on the right, especially like I would consider myself, especially artistically, maybe more on the right than on the left, because I embrace a lot of I like a lot of really good formalism. And I like technically good films. So like, I'm not the kind of guy where you can show me like some kind of like basically student-made thing that's supposed to mean something, and but it's like just honestly something that's not that well done. I'm not gonna really like it. I'm not gonna watch some Andy Warhol piece and think it's great. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's more like when you're talking artistically, like something that's more maybe like left, something that's more progressive. And I'm definitely not on that. But as far as like lefty reviewers or something like that, I think that I honestly think that that just tends to be most reviewers. You know, I don't necessarily think that it's. I think though that unless the film calls, like there's a political theme to the film, that you shouldn't really inject politics into a review, and I think too that you should be able to judge a movie outside of its politics, even if you don't agree with the politics or the message or anything like that of the film. Like we're talking about Birth of a Nation and The Triumph of the Will. That I think that you should be able to. Now, judging a film is never going to be objective. It's always going to be subjective, but I think that that you have to separate almost like to say if something is good or if something is bad. You have to separate the your own biases. Like I'm not a communist, but there are movies that I do like that are probably fairly pro-communist. You know, it's just like that, I guess. I could recognize them for the great works that they are, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with what they're saying. Yeah, Quentin's review. Wait. Oh, yeah, the Boulder skit. That was funny. I think that one got banned from Adult Swim. Shove your politics down everyone's throat or you're a Nazi. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand like this incessant need for for trying to tell everyone your politics. I really do not talk about politics on my channel at all. I'm not about to start either. I'm not going to get into politics. Because I just don't think that it's like, I don't think that it's necessary for a channel like me. People come to hear, maybe my analysis of movies, or like I like to research how films were made, and and I know a lot just from working on sets and stuff like that, and I like to just share that information with everyone, and I really don't care what people's politics are. I just want everyone to have a good time when they're watching my stuff, when they're hanging out with me on stream, or when they're watching my videos. Like, I just like sharing cool stories or ideas or information with people. So I will never get political on my videos. I might talk about people's politics. Like, for example, I've been working on a video about Dennis Hopper, and he was kind of out there politically, and I might talk about his politics. I might talk about a movie's politics, but I'm never going to necessarily make my own politics a big point of anything that I do, particularly because just how I think is just like, look, that's not what you're here. You're not here for my political takes, so why should I give them to you? You know, if you want to ask me in private about something, then sure, I'll talk to you. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make it a part of my public image. I guess that's what I mean. I'm just gonna start wrapping things up. It's been my longest stream in a while. I need to share the magic with my son. That's what Coca-Cola says. I don't have a son. So I'm somebody's son, so I guess they mean me. Philosophy Tube. Yeah, I actually listen to a lot of like philosophy lectures and stuff like that. I think that what's your opinion on the Iraq War? Look, I'm against the Iraq War. All right, I will say that. But that's something that happened in the past. I was against the Iraq War when it happened. So stupid. But I mean, we're almost 3 hours in. You know, war really is just for the profit of people who make the weapons, right? That's why we keep these wars going. People get a lot richer, while people who think that they're dying for their country are really just dying to line the pockets of those in charge. Yeah, I'm generally against war. I think there are times when maybe war is necessary, but I think most of the times it's not. Okay, let me see. Let me scroll up. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof is so good. Yeah, I really liked it. All the actors in there were really great. Once Upon a Time in the West. Okay, yeah, I responded to that. I haven't seen Candyman, so I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Paprika. James Lee Saipai, CP? I don't know how to say it. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Smedley Butler video is really good. I like Knowing Better a lot. Yeah, that's a great, like TJ's right, that's a great video. Knowing Better's. So I guess I'll just give everyone sort of a brief rundown before I go. Brief rundown of the future of the channel. Not like, oh, everything is changing. I'm leaving, guys. I'm leaving YouTube. People bullied me on Twitter, and now I gotta leave. I'm deactivating everything because somebody called me a mean name in the comments. No, it's nothing like that. So what I'm basically trying to do with my channel is doing series. So how I kind of had it, so this is kind of how I guess the channel evolution has gone, right? And a lot of people, you guys have been here for a while, so you notice that like my first, when I really first got into really making videos, it was very kind of nerd writer style, video essay type of stuff. And then last June, I started going more like in the field, shooting stuff, incorporating my incorporating stuff that I shoot, incorporating myself more into it, and that's kind of led up to where I am now. But where I want to go is creating a couple different series. So I have one series, and that's Beginner's Guide. I have the Beginner's Guide to Krzysztof Kieślowski and the Beginner's Guide to Robert Bresson. And those two are actually still two of my like better performing videos, I think, because they're in, a series. So my next video is going to be a short video. It's probably going to be 5 to 8 minutes long. Of course, that's what I said about my Citizen Kane video. I was like, yeah, this video is going to be like 6 to 7 minutes, maybe like 10 minutes max. Like, just as like, I was thinking, I'm just going to make this quick little video about Citizen Kane, about the making of it, have some cool stuff in it. It's going to be like my, and it's going to be something I can easily edit over Thanksgiving, when I'm visiting my family. And then the script for it just kept getting longer and longer and longer. It ended up becoming 20 minutes long. But no, I already wrote the script to this one, and it's a video with ordinary things, and it's basically me just talking about the future of filmmaking on YouTube, and I think that it's going to be the start of maybe like a less serious video series called like YouTube reviews, where I review like movies on YouTube's or like YouTuber movies or things like that. So the first one is going to be the pirate, the Internet Historian Pirate one, which I really enjoyed. I thought that was a lot of fun. And it's really just me talking about the future of filmmaking and, and how YouTube and, I mean, it's going to be a very short video, but, Ordinary Things already sent me his video clips that he's going to be in it. It's like a short interview with him about the process. It's kind of like a making of Internet Historian's video. Internet Historian still has to send me his stuff. I ask it. He's just so busy, It's really like the video is going to come out whenever he can get around to responding to some of my questions. With Samito Media, I already talked to him about his version. I'm going to just like I'm basically just going to have him, I'm just going to sort of deep fake it and make him say really bad things in the video by cutting together different things he said. Like the very good friend I am. So then after that, so that'll release maybe like later this week. Maybe like on Friday, and then after that, I'm going to make the Beginner's Guide to Cinema, which I actually have my list up here. So I made a list. I'm still making the list of like films. So basically, what it is like if you want to get into movies, I've explained it, but like here I have from the silent era, I have Horse in Motion because it's like the first. Train coming to the station, workers leaving the Lumiere factory, Trip to the Moon, Great Train Robbery, Birth of a Nation, Shannon Andalou, Passion of Joan of Arc, Potemkin, Man with a Movie Camera, Caligari, Nosferatu, Metropolis, Charlie Chaplin, Harold Lloyd, Buster Keaton, all those good guys. Transition period, I talk about Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans, Jazz Singer, Wings, and Singing in the Rain, because not that Singing in the Rain was made then, but it is about that transition period. It's probably the best film about that. But it's just kind of like started off. And I will be doing that with Ordinary Things. It's gonna be another like maybe 20-25 minute long video. So that's gonna be releasing on Christmas, and then also releasing on, or maybe Christmas Eve, sometime around then. So much later this month, because it's gonna be a big video. And then releasing on Christmas on my second channel, I'm going to do a Criterion collection, just sort of like showing off my Criterion collection. People have been recommending it a lot, or like asking that I do it a lot. And I've always thought about it, but I've just never gotten around to it. And I figure if you guys want to see my movie collection, I'll just, take 30 minutes and film it. Give it, show you guys what I have. Talk about each movie too, briefly, why I like it, why I bought it, things like that. Because I have something like 200 Criterion movies. I might have more now, honestly. It is an addiction. It's a real addiction of mine. I have a lot of their box sets. Like I have the Tati, the Demi, the BBS, the Bergman, the Fellini box set. I have the Before series box set. I have the Decalogue. I have the Three Colors trilogy. I have the Whit Stillman. And I watch all these movies. Like I love all of them. So the next month, in this month, I wrote a video for The Gamer from Mars that is a Kino video. It's about film preservation. It's about silent movies. It's about film preservation. I work in a bunch of Criterion stuff into it. It's going to be I think that video will end up being about 15 minutes long. My script was about 2,300 words. So that's about 15 minutes. That's going to be a good video. I just finished writing that for art. So that'll be coming out on the Gamer from Mars' channel. So it's going to be like a bonus Kino Corner video. The Gamer from Mars will be doing a Kino Corner video. So so look out for that. In that video, I talked a lot about the Apu trilogy, especially in terms of film preservation. And I was just sort of like, when I was writing it, I was like, wait, I'm gonna get the Gamer from Mars to talk about Satyajit, or how you say his name, Satyajit Ray. I'm gonna get the Gamer from Mars to talk about Pather Panchali. I'm like, that's actually kind of epic. So that video is going to be coming out. Oki and I are doing a collaboration that's going to come out on his channel this month or next month. And then next month, January, is going to be, I'm going to be doing the Making a Masterpiece series. So I'm going to be working on that, but I'm also going to start a new series called Kino Cowboys. And the Kino Cowboys is going to be about like rogues in the film industry. So my first one is going to be Dennis Hopper. And it's going to be about Dennis Hopper's early career. Basically Dennis Hopper from childhood to like the last movie, which is sort of almost like, in my eyes, is kind of like peak Hopper. Is the last movie, but and if that does well, I'll make sometime later I'll make a sequel to that, and where I talk about his films in the late 70s, his time in rehab and stuff like that, and Blue Velvet, things of that nature. And like another Kino Cowboy I was thinking of doing was Orson Welles, as a sort of sequel to the Citizen Kane video. So I think that like I'm kind of just trying to come up with like different series to do, and how I can sort of like maybe expand upon things I've already done. So in January, I'm gonna make a Making a Masterpiece video, and it's gonna be on Come and See, and it's gonna be on Come and See. And then I'm going to do Kino Cowboys and Dennis Hopper. In February, I was thinking about, so I really want to make a video on The Godfather, because I have I have a bunch of books about The Godfather. I've read a lot. Beginner's Guide to Orson Welles. Yeah, I mean, I could do that. My Citizen Kane video is already sort of like, I feel like, the thing is I feel like, it could be like a series, or I can make like a whole Orson Welles playlist. I can make a Making a Masterpiece, right? Magnificent Ambersons, because there's a lot to it. The fact that like 40 minutes of it is cut, lost to time, and it's such a great movie. And a lot of the film is very personal to Orson Welles, especially how it relates to his own father. But there's a lot that happened in the 40s with Orson Welles and his whole like time with the studio system, and then moving to Europe and everything like that. It's really interesting. And then his making of like The Trial, Touch of Evil, F for Fake. What makes someone a Kino cowboy? Do they just have to make Kino, or does it dive more into the character? Yeah, so those videos are going to be more diving into their personalities and their careers, where I use their, basically like how I'm doing with Dennis Hopper, right? Is that he had a very long career in Hollywood before he made Easy Rider. He was a photographer. He was a good photographer. He was an artist in a lot of cases. He was, he did a lot of different kinds of art, but he was like a Hunter S. Thompson style guy, like shooting guns in his house. Like almost, one point he tried to kill the director Nicholas Ray. He was James Dean's protege on the sets of Rebel Without a Cause and Giant. He just, he's just a very interesting character. And so for a Kino Cowboy, it's just sort of like a person in the film industry who is an eccentric character, who's a very compelling person outside of films, but a person who was involved in filmmaking, was involved in the process, and was involved in making memorable movies. I've thought about doing a beginner's guide to David Lynch. I might do that. Maybe in February. I want to follow up my Citizen Kane video for sure with the Magnificent Ambersons. And then I was thinking about doing a Kino Cowboy on Orson Welles, where I talk about basically like post Ambersons Orson Welles. Post Ambersons Orson Welles. Please include the quote for the Transformers movie. Yeah, that was a great. Wait, Matt, let me find that. That's on our Discord, right? Let me see. Was that on Movie Talk? Did you share that? I gotta go back and find this. The Orson Welles quote here. That's the Rags thing. Gosh, what was this quote? No, I'm going way too far back. Okay, I can't find it. Yeah, and then so February, like I don't like really sort of planning this far out in advance, because if I plan for something, I just won't do it. Like, I know myself. I want to make videos on like Good Time. That's a big one that I want to do. Like, there has to be like really interesting behind the scenes stuff that most people like don't know about for me to really want to cover it. But David Lynch, yeah, I'm a huge David Lynch fan, so definitely that. The only thing, I think that the only thing that's really sort of been a mental, how do I talk about Twin Peaks? Because it's so expansive. It's so big. It's just sort of like, there's just so much to it, you know? But David Lynch has so many hits, like so many great films. And I think that his most underrated film, honestly, is The Straight Story, which I really enjoy. Like, I really like The Straight Story. And I don't see anybody, like, nobody ever talks about it. Channel Awesome covered it. But I don't, it's so weird when it's like Channel Awesome was like the only film to really do any kind of coverage on it. But yeah, I think that, so expect Beginner's Guide to Cinema in a couple weeks. Criterion Collection on Christmas, and Come and See, and then I don't know, something else. Dennis Hopper after that. Dennis Hopper will be the end of January, and then we'll see where we are there. A lot of this really just depends. I'm such a whimsical person, as you can probably tell. I'm a very whimsical man, and I just kind of get like obsessed with something out of the blue, and I just make a video on that. That was Halloween, basically. I was just like, I rewatched it, and I was like, man, like this is like I had seen it as a kid. I'd seen it several times as a kid, but I rewatched it, in like late September, early October. I was like, man, this movie's really good, like just from a filmmaking perspective of it. And so then I just made a video on it. Yeah, pretty much that's it. Oh, you said you sent it to me. Okay, here we go. And this is what I'll close with. Orson Welles talking about the Transformers movie. You know what I did this morning? I played the voice of a toy. Some terrible robot toys from Japan that changed from one thing to another. The Japanese have funded a full-length animated cartoon about the doings of these toys, which is all bad outer space stuff. I play a planet. I menace somebody called something or other, then I'm destroyed. My plan is to destroy whoever it is, thwart it, and I tear myself apart on the screen. The confused man. You know what? I'd be confused too if I was Orson Welles. He was a genius. You can see him on the screen here. He's been pointing to the chat, and everyone he points to is a Kino Chad. So he's pointing to, when I'm seeing it, he's pointing to good old Matt right now. All right, good old Matt is the Kino Chad at the moment. But he's pointing to all of you guys. You guys have all been Chads tonight. All been very Kino. Thanks for tuning in to this 3-hour live stream. I'm losing my voice. My voice is going to be lost tomorrow. And this is the most money I've made on a stream, $41. Thank you to everyone for giving money. This is kind of insane. And I hope you guys all enjoyed my latest video. If not, it's on my channel. And I will see you all very soon, hopefully. I might do another live stream before Christmas. So I'll see you guys later.